girls' dorm expecting to get beaten up, but instead, you end up getting accepted into college. This is the wild life of the powerful wind magic user, Noah Harrington, a guy now stuck pretending to be a student for the rest of his life, while hiding motives that have nothing to do with academics in a quiet town under the night sky. A precious necklace rests on a pillow. It's beautiful and shiny, but someone grabs it in the blink of an eye and starts to run away. The guards protecting the necklace announce that a thief has stolen it and that they must pursue him, but the man in question doesn't see it that way. He is not an ordinary criminal, for he possesses magical powers that he uses to fend off the guards pursuing him. To the townspeople, he is a sorcerer, and they are right, but to be precise, he is a wind controller. His mother's last words were not to use his powers, but since she left behind a heavy debt, he has to use these powers to pay it off. His name is Noah Harrington, and he refers to himself as the city's own problem solver, even though he carries a heavy debt of $50,000 that he needs to pay. After escaping from the guards, Noah enters a pub where a muscular waiter resembling Andrew Tate is waiting for him. He places the stolen necklace in front of the man, expecting to be well compensated, but to his shock, the bald man throws a small bag of coins on the table. Noah is furious, because it's not even 50 gold, and for that, he had to go through so many guards. However, the bald server ignores him upon noticing another person entering the pub. He was waiting for this person, and he hands the necklace to her. It is an elderly lady who takes the necklace in her hands, and her face lights up with happiness. It was all that her daughter left behind before leaving this world. She offers only a bucket of baguettes in exchange for the necklace. She hands it to the bald server, apologizing and saying that's all she can offer. The server is sure that the intermediary will be grateful for this and says that if she needs anything else, she should feel free to ask. Noah listens to the entire exchange right beside them. When the lady leaves, Noah feels frustrated, feeling like he does all the hard work while the server gets all the credit for it. The bald man, with a serious expression, warns him that if Noah's identity as someone who can use mana is revealed, he will be recruited for the war. He advises Noah to keep a low profile, pay off his debt, and avoid following in his father's footsteps. Our boy wants a tough challenge that is worth it, but to his disappointment, the bald man hands him a cute wolf plush toy. Noah thinks it's a joke to have to deliver something like this. But when the bald man reveals that the mission is worth 10,000 gold, Noah picks it up from the table and agrees. However, fear hits him when the bald man. He explains that he has to deliver it to the girls' dormitory at the academy. Rennie Noah is shocked. Since it's a place where no one can enter, the bald man raises the reward by another 10,000 gold. Mr. Krabs, greedy for money, snatches the teddy bear from the bald man's hands. He agrees to do it. As he leaves for the mission, he looks back at the bald man with a smile. Holding on to the fact that he can do it, he says, but while navigating the academy from a cliff, he realizes that infiltrating will be a difficult task. There are sorcerers who can control all kinds of elements, genius inventors and powerful summoners. Thinking about all of them, Noah feels chills running down his body. However, the reward of 20,000 gold motivates him from within, leaving him anxious and nervous. He decides to just do it since he only needs to deliver the stuffed bear to a girl with black hair and red eyes inside, and everything will be over. So he doesn't rush to the academy's wall, but he is a bit surprised to find a force field there. However, he realizes it is extended to cover the entire field, so he can still cross it. He channels the energy of the wind into his hand, and with one strike, he manages to break through and enter. Once inside, he sneaks from room to room looking for the girl with black hair and red eyes. However, he is shocked to find that there are two girls with black hair as it gets late. He considers leaving the teddy bear there for the girls to resolve for themselves, but as the fixer, he knows he has to get it right. With trembling hands, he carefully opens one of the girl's eyes, and bingo, it's red. As he feels relieved to have found her, the girl wakes up and asks who he is. Noah freezes, and at that moment, the girl, in the blink of an eye, attacks him, which he barely manages to dodge. She is shocked that he managed to dodge her attack despite her incredible speed. While all this is happening, the other girl is sleeping peacefully. Noah, trembling on the floor, tries to explain himself, but the girl isn't accepting any of it. After all, he sneaked into her room. He tries to clarify that he is there for a favor, but this just makes her angrier, as she misunderstands and thinks he came for some sort of perverted favor. In a last effort to save himself, Noah denies it, but despite his protests, the girl throws him into the hallway, almost dodging. Noah starts running for his life. While the girl chases him with a book in hand, Noah is shouting, begging for a chance to explain. But the girl firmly believes he is a pervert. Noah knows this isn't an easy job, but he is prepared. As he runs, he suddenly starts to slide until he stops, turns back with a smile on his face, and sends a tornado towards her at lightning speed. However, as the tornado advances towards the girl, Noah realizes it might be too much, but it's already too late. The tornado hits her, but instead of hurting her, it leaves no scratch. The girl, however, is perplexed, realizing that Noah is a wizard. It also made her realize how he entered the academy through the force field. She reveals that at first she was thinking of capturing him alive, but now she has changed her mind. A maniacal smile spreads across her face, leaving Noah unsettled as she opens the book she is carrying and starts chanting. A spell invokes her summoning. Noah is shocked by what he sees before him, a monstrous creature resembling a wolf, ready to tear him apart. It is then that Noah realizes the girl is actually a summoner. The wolf beast growls fiercely, ready to attack as the girl introduces herself as Yuaz. Noah is not impressed with her introduction moment, however, advancing. She states that she is introducing herself so he knows who is responsible for ending his life. With a maniacal smile on her face, she tells Noah that he will die that night. Now Noah is almost wetting his pants. As he processes the situation, the powerful beast lunges at him with its jaws wide open. While Noah remains frozen in fear, Noah is terrified, thinking he is facing a summoner, worth 10,000 gold. But just as he is stuck in that thought, the beast attacks. With its claws, Noah manages to dodge by moving to the side. Though he barely escapes, the claws slice into his shoulder immediately. Yahello follows with a fire spell. Noah barely manages to dodge, causing him to fall face first to the ground. Both Yahello and the beast are surprised by his quick reflexes, while Noah cannot help but feel relieved to still be alive as he processes everything. Another attack misses. Noah starts to run with the beast Yahello on his heels. He runs all over the academy, then jumps through a window, launching himself into the air with Yahello still chasing him, refusing to let him escape so easily. As they fly through the sky, Noah spots another force field and jumps into the building, protected by it. He is momentarily covered by shards of glass but is more surprised that a student could be so crazy as he catches his breath in the library building. An elf notices. The elf is shocked that he broke the force field and demands to know who Noah is. In a panic, Noah apologizes for breaking the window, but the elf, with a serious expression, says he doesn't care about that. He just wants to know who Noah is. Frozen in fear, Noah cannot respond. Then, the elf disables the force field at the main door, allowing Yahello to enter quickly. Upon entering, the elf asks her about the situation, to which Yahello reveals that Noah is a pervert who sneaked into her room. However, Noah shouts, arguing that she is lying. The elf, getting tired of Noah, uses her powerful magic to throw him to the ground. Trapping him there, our boy trembles, unable to move, feeling the heavy force of the magic pressing down on him. Calling the elf director, assures him that she will take care of Noah. However, the director reveals that as a student, she cannot administer punishment, and he tries to argue, but the director fixes her with a fierce look and orders her to return to her room. Despite wanting to say more, she reluctantly agrees and leaves. As soon as she leaves, the director begins to interrogate him, starting by asking who he is. Since he doesn't seem to be one of her students, he claims to be lost, but the director knows that the place he is in is not a place one enters by mistake. The director becomes increasingly suspicious of him as he rambles on about not being a threat or perverted. The director then asks about his past, but Noah ignores her, casually whistling. The Grand Master, picking up the teapot, reveals that he doesn't care where Noah comes from or who he is. He invaded the academy grounds, which is a crime. The director explains that it is his duty to investigate crimes, but he also has the responsibility to look for talents. The fact that Noah managed to break through the force field impresses him. So the director gives him two options: enter the academy or live the rest of his life as a low-level criminal. Noah remains silent, despair settling in as he processes the situation. He then asks, confirming if this is really what the director wants. Noah starts arguing with the director, pointing out how suspicious it is that he sent the students away, and suddenly starts interrogating an intruder, so he knows that his enrollment could just be an excuse to make him do something for the director. Noah also reveals that he is quite famous outside the walls. To prove it, he uses his wind magic to shatter the glass windows of the library. Laughing, Noah reveals that if they find out he invaded the academy, he will only become more famous. The director, realizing that Noah is smarter than he thought, asks what he wants. Noah calmly responds that the director will have to pay and make an official request for his enrollment, including tuition and any other exclusive costs. According to Noah, this could cost the director dearly, so he asks what the director intends to do about it. Hearing this, the director looks at Noah with suspicious eyes, and there she returns to her room, muttering to herself about almost catching the pervert. She didn't expect him to end up in the director's office. Frustrated, she slams the door, startling her roommate. She can hardly believe a pervert managed to break into the principal's office, especially with all the security measures in place. He is clearly talented, but she can't help feeling that this is wasted on such a trivial quest. Still furious, she goes to her bed. She is angry for having her sleep interrupted. And what's worse is that tomorrow is the midterm exam where she needs to be at her best now. The pervert ruined that too. She pauses, pulling the blanket, only to be surprised to find her toy, the one she left at home, in her confused bed. She stares at it, wondering what it's doing there. Meanwhile, inside the gym, a classroom unites with students gossiping among themselves. But when Yahello enters, all eyes turn to her as soon as Yahello walks into the classroom. The whispers begin. Some students murmur about her arrival, calling her snobby and referring to her as the future Mrs. Disloyal Sigrun. Hilo doesn't seem bothered as she is already used to the comments. She knows they call her snobby because they are jealous. She enrolled as the best in the class and has always been a consistent speaker. Another source of envy is her family, the disloyal house of Sigrun. A student speaks loudly behind her, claiming to have heard that the Sigers were the only family to oppose the king, and she hears every word clearly, thinking to herself that if they can't even confront her directly, then they have no right to call her a coward. But then something explodes on her desk, transforming their hands into snakes. The students burst into laughter as it's just a prank from one of their classmates. Hilo remains calm and impassive. She's the outcast of the class, the center of attention for all the wrong reasons. Suddenly, an announcement sounds, instructing all students in the auditorium to head to the arena. Nobody knows exactly what's happening, and some students start to speculate that the class has been moved. Hilo was the first to leave the auditorium. As she left, she cast a spell and put it on the wall. The spell was immediately triggered when the other students began to leave the room. The result was the transformation of their eyes into those of a cyclops, provoking an explosion of anger from one of the students, who shouted, calling Hilo a bastard. It became clear to everyone that she was behind the prank. Meanwhile, Hilo arrives at the arena. The supervisor asks where the others are, but Hilo doesn't answer. After a few minutes of waiting, the students come running in. Visibly irritated, the supervisor is left speechless upon seeing them. Hilo hands the weapon to her, which she uses to reverse the snake transformation. The supervisor's fury is evident. While murmuring about Hilo appearing with snake-like fingers and the students now appearing as animals, she wonders aloud if the dungeon has been opened. She fires the neutralizing gun at them, and their transformed appearances return to normal immediately. She warns them sternly, saying that if they mess with magic again, there will be penalties. With that, the exam begins inside the academy. Noah walks down the hallway in good spirits. He has been accepted into the academy and received a scholarship, which fills him with excitement. Soon people will know that he is a fixer, and his services will be in high demand. He is excited about the prospect of paying off his debts when he graduates and becomes a free man. Suddenly, he bumps into someone. It turns out to be a small and cute creature, similar to the supervisor he saw before. The creature quickly asks if he is okay, but before he can answer, it grabs his hand and starts dragging him. The creature explains that there is no time for niceties, as they are late, but he is not completely oblivious to what is happening. He looks at the little creature still holding his hand and wonders where they are going. The creature responds, mentioning that it is the day of the midterm exam, but Noah has no idea what that means. When they arrive at the arena, an explosion echoes as soon as they look inside. The creature seems relieved to see that they are not late, but another explosion quickly follows. Noah now, in a panic, asks if the exam is really happening because it looks more like a battle than anything else. The little creature considers this for a moment and then asks Noah if it is his first time at the academy. He hasn't heard before, and Noah's presence seems out of place, especially since it is exam day. He explains that he is a new student who just transferred today. The creature seems surprised, as it is uncommon for new students to arrive midway through the semester, especially on the first day of the exam. Curious about Noah's lack of understanding, the creature asks if he knows the rules of the exam. When Noah admits that he does not, the creature instructs him to watch the other students closely. It explains that each student will take a ball from a box, and that ball will transform into a knight. The balls come in 7 colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. And the difficulty of the knight depends on the color of the ball, as the creature explains. One of the students picks a blue ball, and when it touches the ground, it explodes. From the explosion, a knight emerges. Noah's eyes widen upon seeing Hilo, the maniac from last night, confronting the knight in the arena. The creature explains that Hilo is level 7, which makes it quite obvious that she will pass the exam. She also reveals that Hilo is the best student in the class, shocking the boy, leaving him incredulous. He then clenches his fists, determined to see just how good she really is. Meanwhile, in the arena, Hilo mounts her beast while charging fireballs in her hands and advancing towards the knight in the middle of the way. She throws the fireballs at the knight and all hit first. It seems like they did nothing to the knight, but suddenly his armor starts to break, shocking Noah, who is watching everything. As the supervisor announces that Hilo passed the exam, Noah feels chills, thinking that if he had been caught last night, he could have ended up like that knight. Hilo also notices Noah and is shocked to see that this pervert is wearing their uniform. Nora greets, jokingly calling her crazy, but she doesn't take it as a joke. She explodes with rage while screaming that he must be dying, wanting to finish the fight from the previous night. The supervisor, who is observing both, interrupts and scolds her for what she is doing in the middle of the exam. She turns around paranoid and asks if he is a PM, new transfer student, anxious. Noah introduces himself. The supervisor reveals that he is next in line as there are no exceptions for the first day, so he better prepare for the test. She then calls the creature that accompanies Noah, referring to it as a louse, and says it's her turn next. During this, Cut prays quietly for an easy ball to her delight. She receives the yellow ball that she knows is a piece of cake. She throws the ball to the ground, preparing like something straight out of a Pokemon battle. A heavily armed knight with a long sword emerges from it. Noah watches in shock, unable to believe that something like this came out of such a small ball. Cut, not letting herself be disheartened, launches her own attack, which is a small magic cube. When the knight is about to attack, Cut starts moving the cube and throws it towards the knight. As it projects towards him, the cube opens into a net and traps the knight in place. With this, Cut passes the exam, leaving the excited Noah applauding, saying that she is much kinder than the psychopath Yahello, who just smashed everything. The supervisor then calls Noah for his turn, and he is quite excited. Noah confidently enters the arena, while other students comment on how confident he is, even being a new student. The principal is also there watching to see what Noah is capable of. Approaching the box, Noah feels anxious about what he might pick as he rummages through the balls. Magic balls. The violet ball floats and flies into his hands. Noah is shocked to see the ball fly into his hand on its own when he pulls his hand away. Everyone in the arena is impressed that he managed to get the violet ball. On the first day, according to the buzz, it is one of the hardest, even making the veterans fight for their lives in front of her, and thinks this might be Noah's first and last day at the academy for getting this ball. Cut covers her eyes in fear, while the supervisor is excited because she hasn't seen a level 7 battle simulation in a while. However, she shrinks back upon noticing the director next to her, quickly changing her words to say that it might be too much for Noah since he is new. The director is also excited to see what Noah has to offer. Meanwhile, Noah is completely confused by all the chatter around him. Noah, looking at the ball in his hands, throws it on the ground while relaxing, and wonders why everyone was so nervous about this when doing it. A massive explosion fills the arena with the sound of a heavy creak echoing through the air. In the meantime, Noah is whistling confidently, thinking he is the same size as the yellow ball. However, his expression changes when the creaking doesn't stop, and the knight continues to grow taller. In no time, an imposing knight is in front of him. Noah can't believe he has to face this huge knight tank. Meanwhile, other students begin to worry about Noah facing a level 7 knight. Fearing that he might just crush him, Noah feels a chill run down his spine, but when he looks at the other students, he realizes that there are many eyes on him today. He knows he needs to do something as he thinks about it. The powerful fist of the violet knight lunges toward Noah, who dodges by inches. The knight follows up with another attack, and Noah tries to escape running despite his power. The violet knight doesn't seem to be able to catch Noah, who is quite fast. However, Noah is trembling intensely, thinking that if the attack had hit him, he would be dead. The crowd, watching the dodges, begins to murmur about how fast he is, while the Yahello is also confused about what is happening with Noah. As they talk, the violet knight swings his massive arm toward Noah. He waits a moment and then jumps into the air to dodge. The other students are surprised by his long jump. The violet knight is not done yet. He swings the weapon toward Noah, but this time he can't run or dodge, leaving him trapped in its path. Noah, wondering what he should do in this situation, remembers the moment when his mother punished him for using magic in front of people. Noah, holding a chair above his head, argued with his mother, who worked as a cleaner in a pub. She reminded him that his father had been summoned because he could use magic, so he had to be careful. Despite the warnings, Noah used his spell on the table, making it levitate. His mother noticed and scolded him for it. She then approached Noah, and to his shock, hugged him tightly, begging him not to use magic, at least not in front of others. Returning to the present and remembering his mother's words, Noah uses his hands to channel a wind portal in front of him, shooting toward the weapon. Approaching the violet knight, the force is so strong that the weapon is deflected and hits the protective force field around the arena, breaking it. The supervisor, watching this, is shocked that the weapon simply passed through the force field. The students, standing below the falling fragments of the force field, freeze in shock as the sharp pieces fly toward them, but to everyone's surprise, the fragments do not fall. Instead, they start to float in the air. The students are confused, thinking it's a defense mechanism, but one of them is stunned to realize that it's the new transfer student controlling the fragments. Noah is using his magic to gather the fragments in the air, forming one large ball. While doing so, he realizes he has used this spell before, but doing it in front of everyone makes him feel like he has betrayed his mother. With that thought, he launches the fragments at the knight with all his strength, and they pierce through him directly, landing back at Noah's feet. Knowing it's quite late to follow his mother's orders, he charges his wind power in his hands, strengthening himself. He is surrounded by a bright aura of wind while the powerful knight stands before him, watching closely. Noah realizes it's not enough. Meanwhile, the knight's eye flashes as it focuses on Noah, preparing for a powerful attack. His targeting system also detects other students, locking them as targets for the attack. Loading a harpoon on his forearm, Noah is terrified seeing the massive harpoon. The students also notice the knight aiming at them, questioning if he has malfunctioned. As they process this, the knight suddenly fires a barrage of harpoons toward them. They barely manage to dodge in time. Noah is shocked and confused, questioning what the knight is doing and equally worried. They scream for the supervisor to stop this before everyone gets killed. Noah, looking at the supervisor, shouts that something seems seriously wrong and suggests shutting down the knight. The supervisor, Frantically analyzing the blueprint is also confused, reasoning that the knight's armor should be too thick to be pierced like that. Meanwhile, Noah pulls his hair in shock, struggling to understand what is happening at the academy. Suddenly, another harpoon advances toward him, forcing him to jump aside in time, seeing Noah struggling in front of the knight. The director wonders if he overestimated Noah is in the arena, sweating, realizing that his only option now is to defeat the knight. However, he has no idea how to do that. Until an idea strikes him, he calls the psycho girl and asks her to lend him some of her powerful fire. She, full of herself, shouts back that it's his exam and that he shouldn't be ordering her around. Noah, pointing at the knight who is wreaking havoc in the arena, shouts that he will destroy them all if they don't act quickly. Upon hearing this, Yahello becomes concerned and reluctantly agrees to help. She conjures a huge fireball in her hands and throws it towards Noah. As he prepares his own spell using his wind magic, Noah creates a whirlwind above him and combines it with Yahello's fire explosion, amplifying its size before sending it towards the knight. When it hits the knight, it begins to burn from the inside out. Noah clenches his fist, channeling more wind power into the attack. When the flames finally die down, everyone is shocked to see the knight melting and barely holding together. It's the new student's achievement, and even Noah is impressed with what he did, realizing the reality of his victory. He celebrates alone with joy. Meanwhile, the supervisor screams in disbelief at the destruction of her precious golem. Noah turns to Yahello, gives a thumbs up, and calls it great teamwork. Yahello, acting indifferent, dismisses him as childish, while the supervisor shakes with regret in the background. Furious, she screams for Noah and Yahello to come to her office. As they walk towards her office, the entire hallway erupts in applause for Noah's victory over the violent knight. Yahello, still jealous, scorns, calling the celebration pathetic. He mocks her, asking if she is that pathetic because she didn't take down the knight alone. This comment infuriates Yahello even more, as she and all he has to say is this. The exchange quickly turns into an annoying argument with both babbling back and forth. Finally, they arrive at the supervisor's office where she is waiting for them, clearing her throat. She asks if they know why they were called. Noah, puffing out his chest, proudly states that it's because the supervisor wants to praise him for his heroic deeds. The supervisor slams her hand on the table, denying his assumption. She declares that she called them because Noah asked for help during his exam, and Yahello helped him despite it being against the rules. Banging on the table again, she shouts that both cheated, and as a result, they will be placed at the end of the class. This news shocks them, as they clearly defeated the knight. Noah argues passionately, claiming that it's unfair since he saved everyone. Yahello, furious, asks about her assignment, to which the supervisor reveals that her assignment is to teach Noah all the rudimentary magic he missed during the first semester. She adds that Noah will have to pass her test a week from that day, and he tries to protest by questioning why she should take on such responsibility. But the supervisor silences her by threatening her with an F threat, immediately shutting her down in frustration. Clenching her fists tightly, she boils with anger, thinking she should have dealt with Noah when she had the chance, letting out a deep sigh as she realizes she has no other choice. And Lou agrees to help Noah. He also agrees to take the exam, which brings relief to the supervisor. And Lou asks how familiar Noah is with the academy. He reveals that it is a place where one learns magic. She clarifies that the academy does not focus solely on magic. It teaches elemental magic, using water, fire, wind, light, and darkness, as well as summoning magic for those with exceptional talent like Yahello. Furthermore, the academy trains engineers and magic technicians, as Noah realizes that the academy is much more complex than he initially thought. The supervisor reveals that the director's decision to accept Noah mid-semester is unprecedented, but they want to know where he came from and which family he belongs to. Noah reveals that he is from Styadon and is a commoner, to which the supervisor becomes suspicious, as it is uncommon for a commoner to have such a strong affinity for mana. Noah jokingly remarks about being drafted into the army because of his magical abilities. However, ignoring this, the supervisor asks if Noah knows how to use summoning magic. He confidently states that even without a summoning spell, his wind magic is sufficient. Stroking her chin thoughtfully, the supervisor assures him that he will learn as he progresses. Then she orders Yahello to show him the dorms, which makes Yahello even angrier, leading him to immediately refuse. The supervisor, unfazed, threatens him for being stubborn, forcing Yahello to comply despite his wish to kill the son and boy. While Yahello reluctantly accompanies Noah through the fields, he remains furious, blaming Noah for disrupting his perfect student life and leaving a metaphorical scratch on it. However, Yahello retaliates by calling her a psychopath and reminding her that he ended up in the director's office because she chased him that night in the dorms. Being called a psychopath infuriates Yahello even more, and in a fit of rage, she conjures a fireball in her hand, asking if he has a death wish. But as she continues to complain, she suddenly pauses. Realizing something, she sees her pause and questions if she won't go with him, changing her expression. Quickly she lies, claiming that the director called her earlier, so he should find his own way if he isn't so slow. Feeling confident, Noah responds that it is easy enough for him to manage on his own. Upon hearing this, A smile spreads across her face as she explains that on his first night, when he went to the director's office, he should instead go to the first door on the right of her. Noah gives her a suspicious look, doubting what she says, and asks why a dorm room would be located there. Hilo shrugs, warning that if he ends up in the girls' dorm again, they will definitely call him a pervert. Despite her words, Noah looks at her with a hint of suspicion. Still, he decides to follow her instructions. He walks to the specified room, slams the door open, and greets loudly. His supposed roommate, however, he stops, realizing that it is not a dormitory, but rather a professor's office. The professor seems busy, looks at Noah, and scolds him for being so rude as night falls. Noah finally arrives at the real dormitory building. Realizing that Ilu tricked him and made him look like a fool, one of the rooms makes Ilu notice and starts to laugh, proud of how he made him look ridiculous. Noah shouts at her, accusing her of deliberately giving the wrong directions, sliding back under his blanket. She arrogantly responds that it's what he deserves for being rude to her. Hugging the wolf-shaped stuffed animal that Noah brought for her, she falls asleep. That night, she dreams of her past life where her mother is with her near a volcano, telling a story about wizards who can control lava. The wolf-stuffed animal is there too. Hilo is just a child at the time and finds the story incredibly cool. Her mother adds that in the story, there is also a princess who raised a mythical wolf by her side. Upon hearing this, young Hilo clutches the stuffed animal even tighter, imagining herself as the princess her mother is talking about. While dreaming of this in the present, she unconsciously hugs the stuffed animal even closer. However, while everyone sleeps deeply, a rat scurries into the room upon spotting an intruder. The eyes of the stuffed animal start to blink with portals. It stands up protectively in front of the rat. Frightened, the rat freezes for a moment before running out of the room in fear. Then the stuffed animal returns to bed. Meanwhile, in his own room, Noah remains awake, unable to sleep while thinking about how Ilo tricked him earlier. His thoughts are soon interrupted by the loud snoring of his roommate, who is sleeping deeply. Noah tries to remember something he wanted to do. Suddenly, he remembers and jumps out of bed. He sits at the table, grabs a pen, and starts scribbling on a piece of paper. He is writing a letter to the waiter who gave him the delivery job. Despite his 2-year grammatical skills, he somehow manages to write that he completed the delivery and is now enrolled in the academy. The next day, Hilo irritably informs Noah that she will only train him for 30 minutes a day during lunchtime. Furious, unable to understand why she has to waste her time with someone she considers trash like Noah. Meanwhile, Noah, watching her outburst, feels disheartened, but warns her that he will not tolerate her attitude. He reminds her that the principal himself enrolled him in the academy and that failing in one subject will not be enough to expel him. Upon hearing this, Hilo becomes nervous, realizing that if he refuses her teaching, the supervisor might give her the dreaded F that she fears so much. The thought makes her anxious, especially because she carries the immense responsibility of being the heir of the family. Still seeing her concern, Noah smiles, realizing that he has her completely cornered. However, thinking himself the superior person, he decides to let the illusion be his tutor, mocking. He says that she should say please. Ilo agrees, barely managing to control her anger, and reluctantly begs Noah to let her teach him. Noah calms her and asks when classes started, to which Ilo dryly warns him not to speak to her unless they are in a class. Saying this, she turns and leaves, making Noah notice her attention in the classroom. Other students gather around Noah, praising him for his impressive wind spells. Feeling proud, Noah boasts that he doesn't want to reveal his secrets but could teach them. The room suddenly falls silent when Hilo enters. All attention turns to her, leaving Noah confused about the sudden change in atmosphere. It is then that he notices a mischievous student discreetly preparing a bubble spell in his hand. Watching this, Noah realizes that Hilo is an outcast that the students love to intimidate. He could have ignored it, but something inside him doesn't allow him to ignore this. Soon, the student casts the bubble spell towards the unsuspecting Hilo. However, just as it is about to hit her, it stops in mid-air, blocked by a powerful wind spell. The mischievous student is shocked and confused, but quickly becomes enraged upon realizing that it was Noah who intervened. Meanwhile, Noah, with his classic carefree whistle, completely ignores the annoyed student. Hilo, still unaware of what happened behind her, glances briefly back before refocusing moments later. The supervisor enters the room carrying several explosive balls. She announces to the class that it is engineering day and asks if anyone wants to work with the explosive devices. She pauses, looking around the room. The class remains silent, but Noah, eager to pull a reverse prank on the mischievous student, decides to act using his wind magic. He subtly forces the student to stand up from his seat. The shocked and confused student finds himself standing against his will, which is enough for the supervisor to choose him as a volunteer. Scratching his neck nervously, the mischievous student hesitates and stammers, claiming that he is a summoner and that engineering should be left to the Banians. The supervisor does not like his answer and gives him an angry look, saying that if he has a problem, he should complain to his father, which surprises him. Upon hearing this revelation, the principal's son Aaron reluctantly steps forward. Meanwhile, Noah, discovering Aaron's identity, becomes ambitious, thinking that as the principal's son, Aaron must be rich, and he should try to befriend him. When Aaron holds the bomb ball, it starts to vibrate in his hands, making him even more nervous. Noticing her discomfort, the annoying cut raises its hand and offers to help. Eager to try, the supervisor approves and allows her to continue. The cut approaches the device and quickly disassembles it. Precisely, the supervisor instructs the entire class to observe her closely, emphasizing that they cannot always rely on summoning magic. She then turns to Aaron and asks emphatically what Aaron will do if he cannot use magic or runs out of mana. This question makes him anxious as the teacher adjusts her glasses and reveals that the device could save his life. Meanwhile, Noah is snoring in the back row. Other students, noticing that he is dozing off, start to talk, speculating that he must be tired. For using so much wind enchantment in the arena, the supervisor also notices him and points a finger at Yahello, gesturing that he only has 1 week to train him. After class, all the students go to the cafeteria for lunch when Yahello is about to sit down. He notices some water chestnuts placed on his seat by Aaron as a prank. Looking at Aaron, she is about to react when Noah arrives and sits in her spot. Noah quickly feels something underneath and casually removes it, saying that someone must have left it there when tossing the chestnut. It falls directly onto Aaron's plate, making him tremble with anger. Aaron struggles to control his fury, but it's enough for him to confront Noah, loudly asking which family Noah belongs to while biting into his baguette. Noah responds that he doesn't have a family, which makes them realize he is a commoner. Other students in the cafeteria hear Aaron's words and are shocked, all starting to murmur in surprise. It is unprecedented for a commoner like Noah to be studying at the academy. They stop, realizing an opportunity to attack. He asks how a commoner like Noah managed to enroll in the academy, insisting that he couldn't afford the tuition fees. He jokes that everyone should keep an eye on their wallets because Noah might need some help paying his fees. Hearing this, Noah smiles and starts bragging to Aaron, claiming that his skills and talents far exceeded the family connections and wealth of others. Yahello, who is also listening, shrinks back, realizing that Aaron is wasting the entire lunch break that she had planned to use to teach Noah. Realizing this, she shouts for Aaron to back off. Surprising Noah, she warns Aaron to stop, threatening to report him to the principal for intimidating a transfer student. Aaron, upon hearing this, shifts his focus to Yahello, mocking her for helping a commoner. He grimaces and suggests that she is doing it so that, if she is stripped of her title, at least she has someone by her side. He ridicules both, calling them a useless duo of a commoner and a fallen noble. After lunch, Yahello takes Noah to an empty classroom. Noah refers to Yahello as his teacher and starts insisting that they go straight to practical classes instead of focusing on the theoretical part. For the practical classes instead of focusing on the imitated theory. Yahello firmly reminds him that she is not his teacher, to which he simply shrugs, pointing out his attitude. This is almost too much for Yahello to bear, but she manages to keep her composure, reminding herself that it's only for a week. She then puts a book in front of Noah and asks him what he knows about mana. Hearing this, Noah channels wind energy into his hand and asks what Yahello is talking about. Yahello looks at him confused, as he was clearly using mana, but he didn't even realize it. This idiot thought his magic and mana were two completely different things. Frustrated, Yahello decides to teach him through an example. She takes a piece of chalk and draws elements on the board. Explaining that their world is made up of multiple elements, she adds that Noah uses wind magic because of the mana present in his body. However, as she continues her explanation, she notices Noah dozing off. This irritates Yahello, so she conjures a small fireball and wakes him up with it. When Noah suddenly sits up, she yells at him, explaining that mana is like a source of energy that allows the body to use magic. Yahello asks Noah what he does when he runs out of mana, to which he casually replies that he just runs away. Hearing this, Yahello is deeply disappointed. She points out that he is relying only on the mana inside his body, and in her opinion, that is the reason why he is harming himself. Returning to the topic of mana, she explains that there are two types of energy, one that a person is born with and another that exists around them. She raises her finger and explains that if someone only uses the mana inside their own body, they will eventually deplete it. To demonstrate, she casts a spell that disrupts the air around her. Seeing this, Noah comments that it looks like magic, but Yahello, irritated, then conjuring a small fireball on her finger, explains to him how to extract mana from the world around him instead of depleting the energy inside his body. She encourages him to gather the mana in his finger, just like she did. Our idiot boy still doesn't understand, which only makes Yahello more irritated. Thinking that he wasn't paying attention to her, eventually Noah agrees and tries to use his finger. But he is shocked to see something forming in him. He has never felt anything like this before and asks if it's another one of her tricks. Yahello smiles and advises him to gently release the wind he is feeling. When Noah unleashes a huge tornado that tears through the room, shattering all the glass windows, the sheer power of this shocks Noah, because he doesn't believe he did this alone. Meanwhile, Yahello, when Noah unleashes a massive tornado and tears through the room, breaking all the glass windows, the sheer power of it shocks Noah, as he can't believe he did that alone. Meanwhile, Yahello realizes that Noah is more talented than she thought and starts to understand why the director allowed him into the academy. In the middle of the semester, in the director's office while he works, Aaron is sitting across from him. The director asks if Aaron has met the new student, which makes him nervous, thinking that his father might know what happened in the cafeteria. However, for his surprise, the principal praises him and advises him to keep doing what he's doing, believing that this will help bring out the best in Noah. Aaron can't believe it and argues that Noah isn't a summoner, and that his father overestimated his value, but to his shock, his father expresses confidence in Noah, stating that he will prove himself in the future, just as Aaron did when he was adopted years ago, back in the classroom. Noah is still shocked to have produced such strong energy because of himself trying to act indifferent, and he reveals to Noah that the academy is full of mana, and that what he did was simply use it. Despite her dislike for Noah, she feels a certain pride, because under her teaching, he was able to harness the mana. She is relieved that the lesson isn't taking as long as she expected and is glad she doesn't have to give him extra lessons after Noah understands the basics. She tells him to open the basic theories section of the book. Noah, realizing that he still has to read books to fully understand mana, is a bit surprised. He then nervously asks her if it's time for their class, but she denies, saying there's still plenty of time. Since the next class is in the stadium, Noah, eager to read the book, tries to come up with another excuse to go to the bathroom. However, she sees right through him and threatens him to open the book. Feeling the pressure, Noah reluctantly takes the book, but to her shock, he opens it upside down. She's astonished because he doesn't even know how to open a book correctly. Trying to defend himself, Noah lies, saying he was just confused, which is why he opened it that way. She, now feeling a mix of fury and disbelief, asks him to turn to page 21 and read when the book opens in front of him. Noah can't read a single word, causing tremors of frustration in her. This is too much for her, and she screams as loud as she can, asking how he expects to pass the exam if he can't even read. Frustrated, she leaves the classroom for the next lesson, but Noah, disappointed, follows her. He warns her to keep her distance, but since he wants to learn, he insists on staying close. For her, she wonders if he will manage to get through the next lesson, especially since it is taught by a strict teacher. As they approach the stadium, the students are already gathered in front of Professor Cyrus. Upon seeing him, Noah realizes it is the same teacher, whose classroom he accidentally invaded earlier. Cyrus also notices they are late and tells them to sit down. As they line up, the sergeant introduces himself to Noah as the one responsible for the practical arts, mentioning that Noah is a new transfer student. He reveals to everyone that there was a major event at the stadium upon his departure from the Great Alliance. According to him, this impacts not only the fate of their nation, but also the careers of all the students and the classes related to this event. He explains that to contribute to the war, they must first learn to survive. So today's lesson will focus on hand-to-hand combat without resorting to magic. He wants to see how they perform when they run out of mana on the battlefield. After explaining everything, he asks for volunteers. Everyone hesitates, but among them, Aaron raises his hand, eager to try. For his opponent, he chooses the rookie Noah. Smiling at Noah, he taunts him, suggesting that Noah will probably refuse. Aaron knew that Noah's only talent was wind enhancement, so hand-to-hand combat without magic would greatly favor him. Aaron walked towards the ground, remembering his father's words, comparing Noah to him. Meanwhile, Noah was there, yawning, which only made Aaron more furious in his rage. Aaron warned Noah that he would not come out unscathed, but Noah seemed tired and drained of energy after much conversation. Cyrus interrupted them and announced the start of the fight. When Aaron and Noah faced off, Aaron quickly clenched his fists and, while shouting, jumped at Noah with all his might. However, with just a quick tilt of his head, Noah dodged the attack. Aaron followed with another punch, but Noah also dodged by ducking. Aaron then launched a flurry of attacks, all of which were dodged by Noah in shock. Noah realizes he is facing an opponent weaker than he expected. Aaron is just a beta. Watching the fight, Cut begins to explain what it means to be a Banian in the kingdom. She reveals that she is a Banian, which means someone with weak magical power, but a specialization in magical engineering. Most elves, like the director, are born with magical talent, but their population is small compared to others among humans. There is only a 20% chance of being born with magical powers, and even fewer can wield notable magic like Noah, Yahello, and some other students. As for those who cannot use magic, Cut believes confidently that she could easily dominate them with her big robot Rukuma. While murmuring these thoughts to herself, a nearby student heard Cut and looked visibly uncomfortable noticing this. Cut quickly tries to clarify, insisting that she did not intend to cause harm. According to Cut, most sorcerers in the kingdom are weak. For example, Aaron. They think they are superior, simply because they can use magic. Back to the fight, Aaron is furious for missing all his strikes. Frustrated, he shouts, announcing his final move. However, as he attacks, Noah easily dodges by jumping, causing Aaron to fall face first to the ground. Cut observes Aaron and finds him pathetic. She notes that, as a mage, you can only acquire a limited number of skills during their time at the academy, and if they focus too much on magic, they can't develop physical strength. Aaron struggles to get up, panting and clearly frustrated. In the meantime, Noah mocks, asking if that's all he has before casually revealing that he hasn't even started yet. Eren, trembling with rage, clenches his fists and curses in frustration. Noah notices Eren's persistence but knows he must end the fight quickly, as he's starting to drag. He runs towards Eren with impressive speed, leaving Eren shocked by his quickness. When Noah reaches him, he quickly moves behind him, leaving him completely confused about where Noah went. In the meantime, Noah lightly taps Eren's knees, causing him to stumble and fall to the ground, striking a typical anime antagonist pose. Noah points to Eren's defeated state and arrogantly declares that this is the chasm between them. Watching from the sidelines, he feels uncomfortable with Noah prolonging the fight, worried that Eren might still have a trick up his sleeve. Eren didn't handle the humiliation well. Furious, he shouts to his friend to throw him the summoning book. Although hesitant at first, the friend gives in to Eren's demands and throws the book in his direction. Catching it easily, Eren's face twists into a sinister smile with an almost manic expression. He opens the book and calls for Kyle, declaring that it was time to eliminate Noah. When the summoning is completed, a powerful masked monster materializes out of nowhere. Noah's confidence wavers as he observes the creature's fierce appearance. Without wasting time, the monster fires a massive jet of water directly at Noah. Acting on instinct, Noah dodges just in time, narrowly avoiding the powerful attack. The shot misses Noah but hits the wall behind him, instantly melting into a puddle of mud. Noah gathers the swirling energy in his hand and reminds Eren that he is cheating, since they shouldn't be using magic. This further infuriates Eren, who shouts at the top of his lungs, declaring that in the battlefield, survival is what matters. While Eren continues to complain, his summoned monster launches another burst of water at Noah. This time, Noah counters with his own spell, stopping the attack just inches from hitting him. Struggling to contain the attack, Noah realizes that Eren's smile becomes even more sinister. Meanwhile, Professor Siros remains silent, watching the confrontation with a sense of pride as the director's son, Eren, is clearly pushing the limits of the new transfer student. As the two spells collide, the explosion of water begins to evaporate, enveloping the entire stadium in a thick cloud of smoke. Noah admits that initially, he wanted to befriend Eren since he is the director's son, but now he has no choice. Unless fighting against him with determination in his eyes, Noah launches a powerful attack of swirling wind in Eren's summon. The summon retaliates with its water cannon, and as the two forces collide, a huge explosion erupts in the arena. All the students, including Yahello, are hit by the shockwave and anxiously await the outcome as the smoke clears. Eren and his summon remain unscathed while Noah appears injured, leaning against a wall that seems to have collided with great force. That night, when class ends, all the students return to their dorms while chatting excitedly about the duel that just took place. Meanwhile, Yahello stands in front of the fallen Noah. Cut also runs in his direction, worried, however. When Cut is about to reach him, Yahello gives her an angry look, which is enough to make her turn and run back. Exhausted, he looks at Yahello's serious expression and asks about her anger. Yahello, visibly upset, replies that she is angry because Noah prolonged the fight longer than necessary, causing all the chaos. She is also mad at him for allowing Eren to get his hands on the book, something Noah should have prevented to defeat him fairly. Another mistake, according to Yahello, is that Noah faces a summon head-on, which even great mages find difficult to handle. Hearing her complaint, Noah realizes that her anger comes from seeing him remain indifferent. It only frustrates Yahello even more, making her yell at him for losing a battle he should have won. She is furious that he didn't gather mana, as she taught him before. Despite being reprimanded, Noah reveals that he doesn't care. Second, he is not like he is being paid to win or something like that. Enraged, Yahello asks if he has no pride since money isn't everything. However, in Noah's eyes, if he clung to pride, he wouldn't have survived this long. Hearing his response, Yahello screams even louder, exclaiming that if he only cares about money, he should become a merchant or something like that. Saying this, Yahello storms out furious, revealing that she will no longer have classes with Noah as it's just a waste of time. Noah, acting with indifference, knows that the students there do not understand what is really happening. As night falls, Yahello arrives in her dorm room, still irritated about what happened in the stadium. She is furious with herself for expecting something from Noah. In her anger, she sits on the bed, only to be shocked to realize that her wolf-stuffed animal is missing. She starts to search for it, checking under the pillow and in the drawer, but it is nowhere to be found. Confused, she wonders where it went, but suddenly realizes that Noah must have taken it. She suspects him, thinking that he was in her room before, which made it easy for him to steal it. However, she is intrigued about his reasons for doing this, while recalling his behavior with Noah. In recent days, she realizes that he may have had a reason to take the doll. Sitting back on the bed, she screams internally in worry for the stuffed bear. Missing wolf. Meanwhile, Eren and his companions head to the dormitories, with his classmates praising him for the victory over Noah. However, despite the victory, Eren does not seem particularly excited. He asks his companions to leave him alone as he wants to go on his own. As he walks down the hallway, he feels pain in his arm from the fight with Noah. The impact still hurts. As he continues, he finds Professor Cyrus waiting for him. Seeing this, Aaron feels a bit confused and asks about it. Professor Sirius reveals that Aaron's father is waiting for him in the office. When Aaron enters the office, he sees his father with a smile on his face warmly greeting him. His father reveals that he has something important to discuss and asks if Aaron minds. With a nervous laugh, Aaron replies that he doesn't mind and is free to talk, so they can discuss whatever it is. During this, his father asks about his roommate and his school routine. Meanwhile, Aaron becomes more nervous, noticing a change in his father's behavior, which is not typical of him. However, his father quickly changes the subject and gets straight to the point, asking Aaron about being rude to his teachers. Upon hearing this, Aaron becomes even more nervous and a bit scared. He kneels on the floor, apologizing. As his father approaches with a smile, his father reveals that he will be away for an important business, and tells Aaron that if he completes his work while he is away, he will be well rewarded. His tone then changes to serious as he warns that if Aaron fails, he will have no choice but to punish him. The next day in class, the supervisor is beaming with Noah and Ilo's effort, praising them for sacrificing their free time to practice rudimentary magic. She is eager to see how they will do on the next test. Noah thanks her for recognizing their efforts, shedding tears of pride, while Ilo stands beside him, still suspicious, since she lost her stuffed wolf. Ilo searched everywhere and interrogated everyone, but she couldn't find it. She still suspects that Noah is the culprit, but she knows he isn't foolish enough to sneak into the girls' dormitory. Again, as she thinks about this, Noah channels his mana, creating a ball of energy and throwing it into the air, illuminating the whole room reluctantly. She realizes she will have to ask Noah for help. She doesn't like the idea, but knows that if she pays him well, she might be able to convince him to help her. Meanwhile, the supervisor, observing Noah create the energy ball using mana, is impressed with his progress and acknowledges his effort. Noah dances with enthusiasm, bragging about being a genius, happy with his efforts. The supervisor grants him a day off for his dedication, before leaving to attend to some urgent matters. Elsewhere, Hilo calls out to Noah and asks if he still works as a repairman. She reveals that the teddy bear he brought her has gone missing, and asks if he could help her find it, promising to pay well. Noah is surprised by the request, but casually declines with a shrug. Hilo becomes furious at his unexpected refusal, especially after offering to pay him. Noah, changing his attitude, arrogantly boasts about having his own pride to consider, and comments that now that he has passed the test, they won't need to see each other again. Noah's response leaves Hilo completely shocked, but to make matters worse, he casually says goodbye and leaves, leaving Hello furious, thinking about what to do next. Meanwhile, in the kingdom of Estiodon, the throne room is buzzing with activity as various members of royalty and dignitaries gather. The room murmurs with conversations as the nobles await the arrival of their majesty. Soon the grand doors creak open, but instead of the king, a heavily armed knight enters. The knight calls for the Lord Steward and begins a private conversation. The present nobles watch with curiosity and growing concern, unable to discern what is being discussed. When the knight finishes speaking, the expression of the Lord Steward shifts to one of deep concern, increasing the discomfort in the room. Wiping the sweat from his forehead, Lord Emberlin addresses those present, apologizing for keeping them waiting. He then informs them that the meeting is cancelled. Lowering his gaze, he solemnly declares on the authority of the king, the independence of Styodon from the Great Alliance. The room erupts in disbelief and gasps as the gravity of the announcement sinks in. Meanwhile, the director observes the scene with a mysterious smile on his face. A noble, unable to contain his indignation, shouts demanding to know why their majesty is not present. Looking at the knight, the Lord Steward responds that the king is in poor health and cannot attend. The noble, still unconvinced, turns to Marte, urging him to say something, clenching his fists and briefly closing his eyes. Marte declares that they have been deceived. As the tension rises in the air, the director tries to leave the room discreetly. However, just as he's about to exit, Marte stops him. Suspicious of the director, Marte accuses him of being aware of this plan all along. The director, with a carefree attitude, dismisses any accusations of his involvement. In response, he offers an enigmatic prayer for Marte's family, which instead of bringing relief only heightens Marte's concern. As the director leaves accompanied by Professor Cyrus, he comments that, now that this Odown has secured the assets of the fallen nation, it would be foolish to remain in the Grand Alliance. The director, turning slightly towards him, asks what he believes will happen if they break the ties. Cyril reveals that military tensions will undoubtedly increase, leading to the feeling of alliance funding, which is a result that they could exploit to profit. The director, with a sly smile spreading across his face, replies that they will not only profit but also plunge the region into war, with a gleam of ambition in his eyes. He adds that they are about to make history in these times of war. Saying this, the director laughs, his laughter soon turning into a loud and manic cackle. It seems everything has come together perfectly for him, and he clearly has a plan in action. Meanwhile, in the boys' dormitory at the academy, Noah receives a letter. Curious, he picks it up and examines it. However, upon opening it, he finds the page completely blank, which surprises him. Suspicious, he channels mana energy through his hand, revealing a hidden message inside the letter. What he reads leaves him incredulous. instructing him to spy on Hilo the next day. In class, Noah's truly tired after spending the whole night thinking about the letter he received. He has no idea who could have made such a request, offering 10,000 gold up front and 30,000 after completion. With so much gold, Noah could easily pay off his debt and start over again, but he finds the situation a bit suspicious. Moreover, Noah has already been rude to Hilo, so he can't even talk to her, and to spy. He needs to find a way to approach her. As he sinks into the table, lost in thought, the tutor notices and finds his behavior strange. After finishing the lecture, the supervisor informs all the students about an upcoming position tournament which requires a powerful team composition. She instructs everyone to submit their registrations by the end of the day. After forming teams, the whole class begins to chat, trying to find their teammates while the Cut is excited to form a team with Noah. He agrees to join her, but then notices Hilo, who is sitting alone with no one around. He begins to consider making her a teammate. Other students have also heard about the fall of the Seaground family and are gossiping about it, joking that she might have to leave school because of this. Noah, upon hearing this, becomes a bit worried about her, realizing that she is suffering because of her noble origin. The students continue to mock her, pointing out that she is pretending to ignore them, even after hearing their taunts. However, Noah scolds them. He tells them that they are all friends and should not intimidate or mock Hilo in this way. He, trying to scare them, says that if they keep doing this, they will have bad karma. Upon hearing all this, Hilo gets up and leaves the room while the students continue. Speculating and chattering behind her, Noah runs ahead and clarifies that he was just trying to help. But with an angry expression, she stops and looks at him, reminding him that it's her problem. Knowing this, Noah freezes while Hilo continues to call him a stalker, saying that he promised not to see her again, and yet here he is following her. Noah shrinks back, hiding his intentions, and denies following her. However, Hilo notices something and with a deadly look demands that he be honest with her, which makes Noah even more worried, thinking that she might know about the letter he received. However, to his shock, she yells at him, accusing Noah of stealing her stuffed wolf. Relieved that she doesn't know about the letter, he denies taking her stuffed animal. However, this starts an argument between them, with both shouting at each other until Cut arrives and informs them that they are now teammates. Both sweating and panting, they are confused about what she is talking about, as Cut shows them the registration form, where their names, Noah and Hilo, are written as a team. Cut filled out the form by herself, since Noah and Hilo had no one else to form a team with, and they could all work together, while Cut continues talking about how they are a good team. Both eager to interrupt her, they assert that they understand. This excites Cut, so she simplifies her speech, explaining that they are a perfect team because they have a summoner, an elemental magician, and a magical engineer. Knowing this, Noah also realizes that he might have the chance to get closer to Hilo to spy on her. He is still undecided about accepting this request, but is sure it will work. Curious about this, Noah agrees excitedly while Hilo looks shocked at him. Hilo also has no problems with the team, but then she screams, choking Noah because she doesn't want to join him before recovering her stuffed bear. Noah, with difficult words, tries to tell her of his innocence, but she doesn't believe him. Meanwhile, somewhere on the streets, the stuffed wolf is alone. It is sitting beneath the girls' dormitory building when suddenly, someone grabs it by the head from behind and lifts it up. As he picks it up, the guy wonders who the owner of the stuffed bear is. Meanwhile, in the academy building, Noah and his team are having a meeting where Cut is leading. They are a team, but according to Cut, they still need a tank, and for that, they need to recruit someone for the role. Cut, with the suggestion, also has an idea for this. She refers to a person who is a Galagon, speculating that he still hasn't found his team. Upon hearing that the person is a Galagon, both Noah and Hilo are shocked. Cut, with a determined expression, reveals that her plan is to recruit all the outcasts who have no teams, so that they can fit perfectly together. This thing about being excluded frustrates Ilo even more, but all she can do is contain her frustration, and Cut keeps saying that the person is Noah's roommate, and it will be a perfect fit for their team. Noah realizes she is talking about her roommate, but he is worried that he might make Cut uncomfortable. Cut denies it, saying that 4 years have passed since the Galagon War ended. Even the director who fought in the Galagon War and was killed early by one of them accepted Mumu, who was a Galagon at her academy. The war left scars, but according to Cut, talent is talent, and no one can ignore that. However, Noah hesitates, because his father also died fighting in the Galagon War. Cut, trying to make him understand, says that the Galagons were not to blame because it was their king who started the war. Hilo is also in favor of including Mumu in their team since it's just a group project. Despite both agreeing, Noah still feels a bit uncomfortable teaming up with a Galagon. Meanwhile, Hilo still hasn't recovered her teddy bear. How did this happen? Well, while she was sleeping with it, the teddy bear suddenly wakes up, sensing movements in the room. It was an enchanted teddy bear designed to protect her. That day, the teddy bear was at its best, watching a mosquito buzzing around the room to protect Hilo from it. The teddy bear jumps towards the mosquito, but accidentally falls out of the 3-story dorm window and lands on the street. Meanwhile, Hilo sleeps peacefully, Despite falling, the teddy bear decides to climb back up. However, its attempts repeatedly fail while lying on the ground. Discouraged, a person appears and picks it up, and what happens next remains unknown. Back at the meeting, Noah is still grumbling about the idea of including Mumu in his team since he is a Galagon. Cut is also in favor of including Mumu in their team as he is incredibly strong in hand-to-hand combat. Despite being weak in magic, according to Yahello, he is perfect for them, since they lack physical power among the three. Cut, upon hearing his opinion, is quite impressed with Yahello. As they discuss, they arrive at Mumu's hideout, and upon entering, it is filled with branches and flowers. It's like an entire garden. Upon hearing this, Noah is shocked, not even remembering which word to use to describe the atmosphere of that place, and Yahello fills this gap by saying it is beautiful, something Noah has difficulty saying. Upon hearing this, Noah denies it, revealing that she was thinking of something much better than that. Meanwhile, Yahello, noticing the greenery around, realizes that it is quite an extravagant hobby, and the maintenance must be a hassle for Mumu. Hearing this, Noah wonders if all this is quite expensive, but Cut reveals that it's about the effort it requires. And remembering that there was also a garden like this at home, but then it feels a little sad thinking that it is abandoned, since no one is there to take care of it after his mother's death while looking around. Noah and Yahello are left speechless when they notice his teddy bear in the garden, Yahello running towards it. Can't believe how it got there. However, then someone steps out of the shadows. This figure is wearing a farmer's hat and is imposing over them, asking who they are and what they want. Yahello, furious, screams at him, convinced that he is the one who stole the teddy bear. However, the man seems oblivious. Cut screams that they shouldn't shout at the man, since they are there to recruit him, but Yahello, with her manic smile, is now thinking of teaching him a lesson. Even the guy who is Mumu, the one they wanted to recruit, is quite worried about Yahello's behavior. While she screams at the top of her lungs to get her doll back, she then threatens that he cooperate, or she will have no choice but to set the whole place on fire. Hearing this, Mumu tries to stop her, but since she is furious, she pulls out her book and calls her summoner Garrote. As she does this, Mumu, with his muscular build, grabs her whole body, causing the summoning book to fall from her hands to the ground. She becomes even angrier now that he touched her, but is shocked by how quickly he grabbed her. Mew, realizing he went too far, steps back, telling her that she can't just burn his things while all this is happening. Noah is in the background watching everything. Yahello notices him and screams for him to help her get her teddy bear back, promising that she will apologize for blaming him. Realizing she is going to apologize, he does not agree, but he knows that this won't change anything, since Galagans, once they set their eyes on something, never let go. They are quite greedy thinking about this. Noah changes his mind and turns around, saying that she will have to give up the doll and that it was a very bad idea to try to recruit a Galagon. This comment does not please Mumu, who slams her hand on the table, asking what Noah meant by that. Noah becomes a little worried. When Mumu asks why they are treating him like this, it angers Mumu even more, who leaps at Noah, throwing a heavy punch. However, Noah, with his classic sidestep, dodges, revealing that Mumu is as scary as they say, since he could kill someone with that punch. Mumu, trying to justify himself, reveals that he was just trying to make them leave, to which Noah remembers the Galagon War and his role in it, blaming him for starting the war. This paralyzes Mumu, while Yahello, a little confused, wonders why Noah mentions the people. War. So Mumu, clenching his fists, argues with Noah to forget about it, saying it was 4 years ago. However, although the war may have ended for Mumu, she didn't finish in Noah's mind. He never forgave the Galagans. Saying this, Noah rushes towards Mumu with his charged fist. However, Mumu absorbs the blow with his block. Everyone there is shocked, for even though Noah used all his strength in that magical attack, Mumu still doesn't seem affected in any way. Despite being blocked, Noah channels his wind spell into his hand, revealing to Mumu that he heard they could tear apart someone with their own hands. This comment further enrages Mumu, who clenches his fist with veins, jumping and charges at Noah while shouting that what Noah said is just a rumor. Noah dodges, but realizes that if the blow connects, he would be thrown. Mumu continues, grabbing Noah's hand and with full force, launches him towards the ceiling. The force is so great that Noah knows he went too far. He crashes against the ceiling, and then falls back to the ground. Despite the strong blow, he gets up and charges at Mumu, saying that he won't hold back any longer. He channels his wind energy into his hand, concentrates, and launches it at Mumu. The explosion blinds Mumu, giving Noah the chance to jump into the air and attack. Yahello observes Noah going with everything, finds this quite childish. However, she notices that the teddy bear was left on the bench while Mumu is distracted fighting. Just as she is about to grab it, Noah collides with the nearby wall. Our boy looks at him in his defeated state, and she feels a bit bad, realizing that it's her fault they are fighting. Noticing Mumu advancing towards Noah, she realizes she should help him. Despite finding Noah annoying, she intervenes, shouting for both to stop. She turns to Noah and asks why he is so aggressive with Mumu, who is also crying because they came only to recruit. Hearing Cut talk about recruiting Mumu for the tournament, Noah agrees to stop. Mumu also hears her talking about the tournament and asks about it. Cut, apologizing, reveals the purpose of the visit, thinking he won't accept. Cut offers to help clean up the mess they made, but to her surprise, Mumu agrees. Everyone is shocked when he reveals that he wants to represent his village, and that was why he enrolled in the academy. Initially, his race was blamed for the war. That's why they were outcasts until one day the director accepted him. However, his village paid a high price for that. This is the reason why Mumu agreed, so he can meet his village's expectations. A bit embarrassed, Mumu reveals that he has no friends at the academy because everyone is afraid of him. This is the first time someone invited him to join a team. Hearing this, both Hilo and Cut feel proud, while Noah steps back, not happy about it, realizing. Cut asks him to cheer up, to which he questions about the teddy bear he was wrongfully accused of stealing. Mumu picks up and returns the teddy bear, revealing that she found it near the dorms. Hilo accepts, saying it's alright. Since she recovered it, Cut is scribbling on the application form and is very excited. Everyone agrees with the team she put together. Now they are all a team. Mumu is also quite excited. Meanwhile, Ilo is just okay. Inoa, although not happy, agrees. Writing down all the names, Cut rushes back to the supervisor's office to submit the application form. Meanwhile, in the parlor, Ilo reveals to Noah that her father died in the Galagon War. She is shocked, to which Noah adds with a sad expression that is why his mother told him to hide his abilities. That was on his mind, and he confided in Ilo. Ilo remains silent upon hearing this. Suddenly, Noah realizes he has talked a bit too much about himself, so he, with Ilo following, is also on high alert with the stuffed bear. Because there are many insects around, meanwhile, a blue-haired guy is channeling a spell. Looking at him, he states that something has found its master again. He is spying on someone using the spell. In a floating kingdom, the blue-haired man, Ruben, is writing something on paper. When his assistant calls him, she opens the creaking door, asking about the report that he is working on. Ruben looks at her with a smile, revealing that he has been working very hard. The assistant, leaving the room, tells Ruben that she wants the report as soon as possible despite the smile. Ruben finds the deadline quite tight. He is working on a report about the elf director and finds the task quite complicated. Meanwhile, in the Staedon Empire, the director is in a cemetery. Picking up a bouquet of roses from his wife's grave with Cyrus by his side, Cyrus offers to take the flowers to his office, but he replies that he will do it himself. 62 years ago, the director entered the history of Stephen Odin, when he joined the Glazer family by marrying Delina Glazer after 50 years of marriage. She died, and he became the head of the Glazer family. He then participated in the Galagon War with great success, and later established an academy in his wife's name while burning the bouquet he brought from her grave with an explosion of black magic. He throws it in the trash where it burns with dark flames. The director also adopted the orphaned children of the war, training them to join the Stilden army. All of this is also written in the report Ruben is working on, and he is looking for something suspicious within it. However, despite his intuition, he feels something is missing. He then notices a symbol at the end of the report and realizes it is the mark of the bastard who killed his allies to steal a relic. Back at the academy, the director is descending the stairs of a tower and reaches a heavy metal gate. Upon opening the gate, the director stands before a chained man, pleading to be freed. The man is in a worn-out and terrible state nonetheless. There is a relic embedded in his chest. The director looks at him and asks why he wants to go home, emphasizing that he has no family to return to and is an official deserter, so no one is looking for him. In an authoritative tone, the director orders him to summon a monster. The man starts to cry even more, leading the director to grip his head tightly, threatening that he can only leave if he obeys under the threat. The man begins to push his mana with great effort, causing the relic to shimmer with energy, illuminating the entire room with an explosion of power. This is also hurting the man terribly as he pushes with all his strength until the relic explodes from his chest. This kills him, causing the director to lose control, revealing that it was yet another failure. The snap disintegrates the man in the air while the relic levitates toward the director. This was an experiment to summon a monster, using a human exocrino implant, but it failed. So the director is considering using another test subject standing over the scattered remains of the man. The director turns and reveals it is Aaron, the next one. Meanwhile, on the streets, Noah and Elo are at the market. Elo tries to talk to Noah in a strange code, but Noah, annoyed, asks her to speak clearly. This enrages Ilo, who warns him that if anyone finds out they have a summoner on the team, they will be targets. Noah reveals that she has already told him this, but since they are on a break, they can talk normally. Frustrated, Ilo says that he is the reason they couldn't practice for the upcoming tournament. She reminds him that he and Mumu have always been awkward with each other, making practice difficult. Noah coughs nervously, stating that they did their best while they talk. Kuti, sitting on Mumu's shoulder, arrives, and Mumu and Noah quickly notice each other, and things become awkward again. This frustrates Elo, but Cutie remains calm, thinking everything will be fine. According to her, even though they haven't had much time to prepare, they are skilled enough to handle this, despite her frustration. Elo controls herself. Meanwhile, Cutie adds that they are doing this for fun as they continue. During the conversation, someone approaches them. Aram hears Cutie saying they are having fun, which frustrates him, especially because Noah humiliated him earlier. He is now determined to teach them a lesson for what they did outside the castle. As night falls, the director addresses the students, announcing the start of the tournament before it begins. He informs them about the political situation that has resulted in some chaos. However, he wants the tournament to be for everyone, encouraging all to do their best and to surpass themselves. Your limits. Your words capture the crowd's attention, especially Noah and his team. After the director's supervisor explains the rules, she reveals that the first event will be a treasure hunt, where they will search for treasure balls. The team that finds the ball containing the ancient relic will win. She also explains that there is no time limit for the event, and adds that stealing treasure from others will be considered cheating. After the rules, Mumu gets excited while Noah is thrilled, thinking that he could get the priceless relic and sell it, and Lu also has something in mind. When the supervisor with fireworks starts the event, quickly jumping on Mumu's shoulder, Cut starts to scour the area and suddenly spots a ball nearby. However, she speaks a bit too loudly and her words attract the attention of the other students while everyone searches for the ball. Cut mentions it, leading Mumu to cross the crowd, heading toward the ball. Meanwhile, Noah and the others just stand there watching him as he moves forward quickly. Mumu grabs the ball, but the momentum makes Cut fly into a nearby bush. She gets up excitedly and asks what is in the ball, and they discover that it is a magic key that can open any door, but only one. Cut is thrilled, as it gives them an advantage. They continue searching for more, leading them to the theory auditorium. As it is dark, they use flashlights while Noah is busy scaring Cut. Noah is curious if they will find anything there, to which Yahello responds that since the event covers the entire academy, they might find something while they are in the auditorium. Aaron and his group enter, calling them excluded stubbornly. Cut defends herself, saying that she is not the excluded one, while the rest of them are. Yahello also approaches Aaron, asking him to step aside as they need to pass. However, Aaron starts mocking her, saying that she is confident because of her loser friends. He continues to mock the group, calling them a mix of a useless peasant and a weird fig tree. But then he notices the imposing Mumu and stutters, calling him a Galagon. Aaron quickly turns around, saying he has no time to waste and needs to find treasure. His useless chatter confuses Noah, and his group's son, clearly annoyed, suggests that they leave, speculating that Aaron's group may have already found something. However, as they are about to leave, Nu sees a red ball placed nearby on a table. They are confused about how Aaron's group didn't see it. It's because Aaron, remembering his father's words about fulfilling his role, placed a hand-drawn map on a piece of paper inside the ball and left it there. He is determined to find all the treasure and rub it in their faces, following the map. He takes them to a mountainous area near the academy, but our group is confused because they haven't found anything yet. Yahello, irritated, suspects the map, thinking it's a bit suspicious, especially because it marks a restricted area. Mumu adds that if it was on the ball, it must be legitimate. Suddenly, Cut tells everyone to be quiet because she hears something. When everyone goes silent, the whole area becomes strangely quiet, without a single sound. This irritates Yahello even more, who asks what Cutie meant by hearing something, and why she was giving orders that Tajura heard something, when suddenly, Noah's expression changes to terror upon noticing something behind Yahello in another part of the jungle. There is a warning sign labeling the area as forbidden, with a warning message about military judgments for intruders. Nearby, there is a stronghold with a person inside, and in this prison, there are piles of bodies, including that of the person the director was experimenting on, the person transformed into a zombie roaming around. Returning to the group, No points out that she noticed something behind Yahello, but when she looks, it's just a small stone that Noah levitated with his magic. She doesn't find it funny. While Noah laughs, trying to convince her it was to lighten the mood, suddenly, Noah is completely shocked upon hearing a growl coming from the nearby bushes. Hearing this, Cutie begins to lose her mind, and Mumu is also terrified of what it could be. Noah, a bit scared, speculates that it could be a treasure ball, but Yahello confidently dismisses their fears, saying they're all talking nonsense. She remains unfazed, stating that the worst it could be is a wild animal. However, when she opens the bushes, to her surprise, it's the zombie. Noticing the zombie, Cutie and Mumu lose control, screaming for Yahello to run. Yahello, without enough time to react, just shudders. The zombie leaps towards her. But just as it's about to grab Yahello, a gust of wind hits it in the belly. It's Noah, who shouts for Yahello to go after Cutie and Mumu, who have already left and are fleeing to save their own skins. When the zombie regains balance, Noah and Yahello start running, shouting for their companions to stop. The zombie doesn't stop and continues to follow them. Then Cutie shouts for Yahello to just burn that Mumu who is ahead, warns them not to do that, because they will burn down the whole forest if they do. Yahello deciding to summon Gao's, but just as she is about to use the summoning book, she realizes that it's not there. Upon realizing it's gone, Yahello is deeply shocked and screams throughout the forest. In the director's office, he and Cyrus wonder what results the group of students might bring. Cyrus is more intrigued about what the final treasure is and why the director chose it. Looking out the window of his room, the director reveals that he only hopes that the students' skills improve through the tournament back to the mountain. Noah and his running team reach a dead-end cliff with nowhere to go. Noah decides to handle the situation by ordering the team to split up. Noah knows that this way, the monster will have to choose one of them. He carries a heavy ball of wind in his hands, According to Noah, at least some of them can reach a safe place. However, despite his determination, Ilu finds it annoying knowing there is no other way. Noah sends a tornado attack towards the zombie, and it starts to spin, blinding the zombie. It murmurs something. This shocks Noah, and in that moment of shock, Noah accidentally steps off the cliff. He falls freely towards the ground below. Seeing him fall, Ilu wonders if he is dead, and upon hearing that, Mumu starts to cry loudly. Despite being the big guy, Cut is also in a panic, but she has a device up her sleeve. She pulls out an emergency exit mask, which is just a regular sleep mask. To make him sleep and escape reality, she shouts at him to stop while charging fire spells in both hands. She decides to take the risk of setting the forest on fire since there's no choice while she's chanting. She is shocked to see that both Mumu and Cut are already far away. Now she is alone. As she prepares to fight, she hears him calling her from the bottom of the cliff. He is shouting for her to jump. Confident that he will catch her if she does, seeing the zombie coming towards her, she jumps. Trusting Noah, however, our classic Noah does not catch her, and she falls to the ground. It hurts. But relieved that the zombie stopped chasing them, Noah is curious about what that thing was, to which Ilu responds that it's no use thinking about it. She is also furious with Cut and Mumu for running away and leaving them behind when the chase ends. They both decide to search for Yahello's book while the zombie returns to the place it came from. Noah collapses, shedding tears from his eyes, and falls to the ground along with the other pile of bodies. After searching for a while, they find the book and return to the academy where they are shocked to see Mumu and Cut tied up. However, Noah is confused about what they are doing, gathering a crowd around them as soon as they notice him alive. They are emotional, unable to believe it, while Yahello is furious, because they left them to die in the face of danger. Cut, trying to justify herself, starts to speak slowly about what she did, and how it's all a big misunderstanding. Noah, interrupting, questions the people they gathered. Cut reveals that the map is fake, which was also received by other students. So, she gathered them to get clues and find the culprit. After this, Ilu gets even angrier, feeling that Cut had been on a treasure hunt while they fought against zombies. However, Cut reveals that they also collected many treasure balls. Mumu, enthusiastically, shows them what they found in the balls, but an enraged Yahello slams them to the ground, furious. With that, both reveal they found a riddle to obtain the final treasure that Mumu memorized while searching for Yahello, now curious about the riddle. Here's as Cutie reveals that he says something about something that kills everything, destroys kings, and even transforms youth. As she reveals the riddle, Yahello completes what shocks them. She tells them it's a famous classic riddle. It's time. For time transforms everything into nothing. Saying this, Yahello suddenly realizes something and looks at the tower clock. She tells the others, but her words are heard by nearby students who start running towards him, getting ahead upon seeing them. Yahello realizes they can't reach the students on foot, so she orders Mumu to throw Noah so he can fly the rest of the way. With her wind magic, Noah finds it ridiculous, saying she must be possessed to make up something like that. But before he can say anything more, Mumu lifts into the air and with all her strength, throws Noah like a rag doll. It's a special attack called Mumu's Throw. Wow, what an innovative name. As he is thrown into the air like a rocket, shouting at the top of his lungs, Cutie from the ground tries to locate him in the sky, and is surprised to see that he has become a dot in the sky. Curious, Cutie asks about the inspiration behind Mumu's attack name, to which he reveals, embarrassed that it's something he saw in comics. Meanwhile, Noah is shocked by being in the air but soon realizes that instead of going up, he is now going down. Realizing the distance Mumu threw him, he is astonished but now needs to figure out how to land on the clock tower. For that, he uses his wind power to propel himself in the air towards the tower. As he approaches the clock, he notices a ball at the junction of its hands. He launches himself and grabs it while the whole group on the ground cheers for him as he hangs onto the clock. Noah holds the ball in his hands, eager to open it, but as soon as he touches it, it starts to crack. Suddenly, it explodes with a flash, illuminating the entire academy and revealing a summoning scroll. With that, fireworks begin, signaling the end of the first event as Team Noah emerges victorious the next morning. Elo surprises the whole team appearing with a broken arm. She believes it's because she jumped off the cliff, so she cannot participate in the next tournament. She wants to go home to treat herself and be able to participate in the next game. Cootie is worried because the next challenge is tug of war, and the three of them can't play. However, Aloha makes it even more concerning by revealing that Noah is going with her. Noah is confused by what she is saying, to which she smiles and reveals that her family wants to meet him, since he is responsible for her condition. That day, they left for Hilo's hometown. Noah is a bit annoyed to end up accompanying her, especially because in his opinion, her injury has nothing to do with him. According to him, he had offered to pick her up, but she didn't accept his offer while he is thinking about this. He sits quietly in the carriage, looking out the window and reflecting on what happened a few hours before that morning. He called home to inform him about her broken arm upon hearing the news. His butler was shocked and immediately asked who had hurt her, and if she needed him to send a knight. He spoke so loudly that even the supervisor heard him, Trying to calm him, he revealed that she had hurt herself, and that she just needed him to make arrangements for a healer to be ready when she arrived. The butler agreed but expressed concern about how he would travel alone. He offered to send a guard, but since that would take too long, he refused. Then he suggested that she bring a friend. Upon hearing this, she was surprised, as she had not a single friend at the academy. The butler, noticing her reaction, was a bit surprised, but quickly became worried. He asked if she really had no friends. Embarrassed, she lied, claiming that she had many friends eager to accompany her, making it difficult to choose just one. However, deep down she knew the truth, that she was an outcast. The butler, relieved by her answer, assured her he would make arrangements for her and her friend back to the present. While thinking about the conversation, she feels a bit upset with herself for lying to the butler. Seeing her severe expression, Noah wonders if he might be in trouble for insulting him, being cunning. She notices his nervousness, and when she questions him, he lies, saying he is perfectly fine, trying to change the subject. He asks if her family has guards and if they detain people on her property. Realizing the source of his unease, she reassures him, saying she was just joking before, and that her family simply wants to meet him. However, she warns him sternly to behave with dignity in front of her family. Still nervous, Noah promises her that she can trust him to act properly. After some time, the carriage arrives at the royal estate. When they arrive, dozens of maids and butlers are lined up waiting to receive her. Witnessing this grand reception, Noah is shocked, finally realizing the extent of her noble status. The head butler runs towards the carriage. Visibly worried about her, she calmly reassures him, revealing that she is fine despite her previous injuries. Upon hearing this, the head butler is relieved and asks if Noah is the friend that she had mentioned bringing with her. Curiously, she admits that yes, and quickly asks the butler to escort them inside in hopes of preventing Noah from noticing her lie. While the butler leads them, Yahello becomes curious about the reduced number of staff present. The butler explains that they dismissed all employees under 30 years old. Upon hearing this, Yahello realizes why an employee she liked is no longer there. The butler then becomes emotional, crying as he laments that Yahello should be enjoying her youth instead of worrying about them. Yahello finds his drama irritating and ignores it. As they go up the stairs, she changes the subject by asking about the healer so that she can be treated quickly. The butler confirms that the healer will arrive before them and offers to show the room to Noah while they talk, and he notices a regal figure standing at the top of the stairs. Her heart sinks upon recognizing him. It is her father. Nervously, she calls him that, while the butler, realizing his mistake, apologizes for forgetting to inform her about her father's anticipated visit. Her father's stern gaze fixates on her injured arm. With a deep and authoritative voice, he inquires about it. Yahello hesitates, but confirms her injury without saying anything more. Her father passes by them, descending the stairs with a look of disappointment. His reaction deeply wounds Yahello. She is unable to bear it. She runs to her room in silence. The butler calls for her, visibly worried, but she does not stop. Meanwhile, Noah stands in the hallway, completely confused by the tense encounter. In the library, the healer is treating Yahello, revealing that while the bone is fine, it will take some time for her body to circulate properly again. This news worries her even more, as she needs to participate in the tournament. Noah abruptly enters without knocking, which irritates Yahello. Immediately, the healer, noticing him, decides to leave, assuming that her friend is there to take care of her. Before leaving, the healer advises her to take it easy and rest, promising to return the next day to see her after the healer leaves. Noah, full of curiosity, asks how long it will take for her to regain her magical abilities. Her question irritates Yahello, and frustrated, she tries to use magic. However, her spells do not work as before. Further increasing her frustration, Noah reveals that he understands her frustration because he has been hurt many times before, and assures her that she can overcome this with sheer willpower. Yahello, in her usual angry tone, retorts that she does not believe in willpower. However, Noah remains confident, expressing his faith that she will recover her abilities in no time. Surprised by his unwavering confidence in her, Yahello's heart softens a bit and she hesitates and asks if he really believes that. This catches Noah off guard as suddenly he feels a strange sensation within himself. For the first time, he realizes he might be developing feelings for Yahello, something he never thought possible, trying to hide his stumble. He turns and starts rambling about the floor being too slippery. Yahello thinks his behavior is strange. Observing with a perplexed expression, Noah's heart is still racing, unable to shake the feeling that this might be some kind of magical attack from Yahello. Yahello, recognizing his encouragement, reveals that he can't wait for his magic to recover because he needs it for the tournament. Noah, upon hearing this, finds her impatience a bit concerning, thinking that she is being too hard on herself. He encourages her, suggesting that she take the opportunity to rest and take it easy. However, Yahello seems worried and admits that she can't rest because she feels responsible for everyone on the property. She wants to make sure she can take care of all of them. Noah, trying to cheer her up, suggests that she show him the property, so at least she can keep herself busy in a less stressful way. Despite finding him annoying, she agrees. She shows him the kitchen, the sword practice field, and other areas of the property. Yahello, realizing that Noah already seems familiar with the place, questions why he asked her to show him around. Noah, seeking a moment of honesty, reveals that he just wanted to get some fresh air, and explains that he feels different when it's her who introduces him to the officials. Elo pauses and confesses to him that if he has already met everyone, he must know that she was just joking that morning when she told him the false reason for meeting her family. She doesn't admit that she already understood this, but adds that it all makes sense to him. He believes that she is trying to prove to her family that she is doing well to her surprise, and Elo thanks him for understanding, saying in response she starts to walk quickly, embarrassed, while Noah asks about it after walking for a while. Noah continues to tease her, joking about the unexpected thanks, but becomes curious about where they are going. Upon reaching a large door, she takes the doorknob and tells Noah to behave as they are about to enter. With a slight hesitation, she opens the door and with a hint of regret in her voice, welcomes him into her home. They enter a vast deserted area, and Noah is immediately shocked. His mind fills with wild thoughts, wondering if she brought him to such a desolate place to end his life for irritating her too much. Terrified, he imagines Ilo becoming so furious that she could use her summoning book to call her monstrous wolf to finish him off. These thoughts terrify Noah so much that he curls up on the ground, and Ilo watches him and asks what he is doing, bringing him back to reality and making him realize that it is all just imagination. She finds his behavior particularly strange today, but encourages him not to miss the opportunity to look around, revealing that this has been his favorite place since childhood. Noah, getting up, questions their shared affection for the place when they were children. Joking that she must have been a unique child, he looks a little sad, reveals that the area reminds her of a time when she was small and ran to her father, who was busy building a summoning circle in the garden. He was sweating and revealed to her that he was working hard to create it for her. Affectionately calling her his little princess, her father really adored her, hugging her tightly. She told him that her brother Reuben said the circle is a gate to another world. Her father laughed at that, commenting that her brother was quite clever. This happiness didn't last long when her mother fell seriously ill and passed away, followed by her brother Reuben fighting with their father and leaving the palace. She was left there alone. Returning to the present, she explains that the garden is planted in a volcanic area, which is a futile effort, but a desert is much more suitable for that. While continuing to explain, she notices how silent it has become while she observes Vino attempting something with his magic on the portal. It irritates her that he is not paying attention to her while she speaks. However, Noah reveals that he is curious about the magic circle she mentioned. He explains that he will show her something, and saying this, uses his wind power, transferring a strong gust to the portal and breaking it, blowing dust from the entire circle. Coughing and calling it a weak skill, although she observes that the cycle is cleaner than ever while observing the newly cleaned cycle, and mentions that it is when she and Garrosh met for the first time. Saying this, she suddenly remembers the summoning scroll that Noah won in his previous victory. A smile appears on his face as he suggests that he try using the scroll in the circle that night. Not feeling embarrassed about something that happened earlier that day, he thought things were going well and that he was looking pretty cool. But then something happened that made him feel very stupid. What really occurred was when she suggested that Noah use the summoning scroll. He was caught off guard and didn't know how to use it and found it frustrating, especially because he is in a summoning joint, and according to her, if he could use it, it would be a great advantage for them. Hesitating, Noah agrees and asks if they should inform the others. Before using it, she, not caring what the others think, considers if the leader tells him to proceed, as others might not be able to do it. Noah agrees with her even though everything seems sudden and unexpected. Yahello, however, still doesn't seem to care and insists that he takes out the scroll. Noah is carrying the summoning scroll, but when he puts his hand in his pocket, it takes longer than expected to find it. To Yahello's shock, when he pulls it out, the scroll is crumpled and in bad shape. Yahello yells at him for crumpling the scroll like that. Frustrated with the state of the scroll, Noah defends himself, explaining that it was too big to fit anywhere else, which only irritates Yahello even more. Annoyed, she urges Noah to summon correctly and asks if he remembers the summoning magic from class. As she says this, Noah is already starting the process of using the summoning magic. The scroll begins to glow intensely, while Yahello encourages him to continue. Noah, determined, focuses more intensely, hoping to complete the summoning while channeling the magic. He feels a wave of energy pass through him as the scroll starts to levitate between his hands for a brief moment. It seems like the magic is working, but just when Noah begins to feel a sense of accomplishment, the scroll suddenly hits him in the face. He is confused, but he finds it very funny that he failed like that. Noah, seeing this, laughs and feels embarrassed, and reminds her that maybe she also didn't succeed on the first try. Yahello, wiping tears from laughing so hard, admits that Noah is right. She had to try repeatedly, failed numerous times but never gave up, and eventually she succeeded. Although it happened a long time ago, she said it never felt so foolish as Noah did at that moment. She then throws some motivational words at him, encouraging him to try harder. When night falls, Noah lies in bed, embarrassed for failing. He regrets trying in the first place, but then pauses for a moment, realizing that at least Yahello seemed excited after his attempt. The next day, the healer comes for a follow-up visit, but is surprised to see that Yahello is not healing as he expected. According to him, at this rate, she may need a week to heal. Completely upon hearing this, she is incredulous, because there is a tournament to participate in and it will end in a week. The healer reveals that he tried everything. Worried about her health, she soon realizes that if she can't complete her summoning, then they might have a chance of success. She realizes she can create a new strategy for their team. Meanwhile, her father is in his office. Looking at Noah from the window, seeing Noah fail so stupidly, he wonders why Yahello gave him a chance. According to him, Yahello has no time to waste on something like that. Useless trash while lost in thought. Yahello knocks on the door and enters. She informs him that she is leaving, but her father doesn't even respond. Feeling sad, she turns and leaves the room, thinking she is doing the best she can. She just wants to make her family happy. That's why she is trying so hard. She even swears she will succeed at any cabin cost. They prepare to leave in the carriage, but since it is a long journey, Noah decides to take a nap while he dozes off. Yahello looks out the window, lost in her thoughts. It's a long road. Very long back eventually. Upon arriving at the academy, they are greeted by an excited Cut. She reveals to them that they won the tug of war, using fire magic on the rope, but Mumu won't let that happen. She adds that the rope is made of a special material, so it doesn't burn upon hearing this. Yahello is not that excited because the tug of war doesn't grant them many points, and now they will have to work hard in the next volleyball match. Cut, still savoring her victory, orders Mumu to lift her so she can see the next opposing team. However, and upon lifting her, she is shocked to see the opposing team aboard. It's those guys from the first round, who heard the conversation about the timing issue and went to get the ball. Their team name is Rubus, with teammates Lulu, Vivi, Vitor, and the chubby Fabiano. Noah sees nothing special about them and asks what's the deal with them. Meanwhile, in the classroom, the Rubus team is waiting for Fabian, who is late when he enters. The girls are furious with him for being late, while Vitor seems like a pretty chill guy and offers him a seat. When Fabian sits down, Vitor puts forward a scary figure that starts the discussion. Victor, a water elemental and leader of the group, reveals to everyone that they had a pretty smooth journey up to the third round, but now they are facing some really strong opponents, and he makes figures for each of them, explaining their powers. Vivi reveals that the summoner from Noah's group is injured during the treasure hunt, so she might be absent. Vivi herself is a dark elemental, and since she can't contribute much, Lulu, the light elemental, also dismisses her as a non-threat. Vivi knows that Noah is quite strong with wind magic, so according to her, they can easily defeat him together. Vitor also dismisses his figure, since he has already been taken care of, but now there's Mumu left, and they know they will need one monster summoned to deal with him without risking their lives. Everyone agrees on that, while Lulu tells Fabian that since he is a summoner, he should handle Mumu. They call him a half-summoner, which is his nickname at the academy. His mother, a noble elf, took him to the academy and handed him over to the principal, asking him to take good care of him. She knew he had talent for summoning and wanted the principal to give him time to prove himself. The principal happily agreed, but because of his mother's excessive protection, he blossomed late. However, that didn't mean he wasn't a threat. In fact, he was quite strong. When Lulu asks him to take care of Mumu, he pounds his fist on his figure. His face twists with wicked confidence as he reveals that he will take care of Galagum. Now the tournament begins, and the volleyball court is ready for the game. Noah arrives feeling a mix of nervousness and confidence. As they head to the field, Aaron looks at us arrogantly. Cutie is also a bit worried, was anxious about the opposing team, each having special individual abilities. She asks Noah if he remembers what she told him, to which he confidently replies that it's just to pass the ball to the other side. Mumu also remembers the rules, while Yahello recalls the point system, which is the usual format for volleyball. Noah, manipulating the ball with his wind spell, remembers that they can also use magic on the ball, and if they don't touch it, it doesn't count as a touch. Cootie lets out a sigh of relief, knowing that they understand the rules, and warns them that the match can easily turn into a full-blown magic brawl. Then he remembers Yahello's arm and asks about it, but Yahello isn't sure if he can use magic or not. Noah, upon hearing this, is confident they can win without her summoning magic. Noah's team positions themselves on one side of the net while the Rubies take their place on the opposite side. Vitor calmly greets them, to which Noah warns, jokingly, so they don't hate them after they lose when both teams prepare. The referee announces the start of the match. The ball starts with Vitor's side, and he launches it upwards, serving it with a massive strike. As the ball comes their way with full force, Noah prepares, realizing they are going all out. Seeing Noah channeling wind magic, the Ruby girls know what they need to do then. Vivi channels her dark spell and directs it at Noah. He barely manages to dodge, shocked that they've come so far. But while processing this, the ball hits his face, knocking him to the ground. He is stunned, completely blinded by the impact. The match is intense. While Noah is on the ground asking what the hell just happened, Cut is worried about him and asks what's wrong, to which he explains that he's blind. Yahello, upon hearing this, realizes it's because of the Ruby girls using their magic. Cut quickly understands too, and Vivi, amazed that they figured this out so quickly, is confident there's nothing they can do about it. It's time for the next play, and Vitor launches the ball into the air, sending it in their direction with all his strength. This time, Mumu leaps to hit it back, but he is also a target of the dark, dazzling magic. However, instead of missing, he manages to stop the ball and send it back, thanks to Noah using his wind magic to counterbalance the girl's dark magic attack. Seeing that both were in shock, Kuti runs to return the ball and passes the paranoia with his eyes shining green. He jumps in the air confidently. When he's about to hit the ball, he's hit again by a blinding flash of light. The glare is so intense that it blinds him, causing him to lose the ball and fall to the ground. The girls who manage to attack again mock him, teasing that they're not done yet, and there are still more tricks up their sleeves. Things are getting serious for our Noah as the magic continues to make them miss most of their shots, with the score quickly piling up in favor of the Rubies point after point. After a while, the referee blows the whistle announcing the end of the first set. Yahello, furious with the opponents for using magic, yells for them to play fair. Vitor, with his charming smile, thinks they're not doing anything wrong since the combined strength of Noah's team is greater than theirs. However, he is confident they can defeat them with hard work. This comment only enrages Noah's team further, and to fuel the fire, Vitor adds that they should try harder and summon monsters since it's getting boring. Pushing Yahello to her limit, she tries to summon in her power, but fails due to her broken arm as she can't use her magic. Vitor, a bit worried, smiles at Fabian while Yahello fails. Yahello, unable to invoke her magic, warns that she has already discovered them and will not fall for their traps anymore. Her anger worries everyone, even her own teammates. She is determined to make them lose. Now the referee announces the start of the next set, and as she does, a wicked smile spreads across Yahello's face. She screams with all her strength, Noah to use his magic attack and restrain the Ruby girls with it. Noah, however, hesitates, but she yells at him to just distract them with his magic. Yahello suddenly shows her anger, fueled by their close friendship. Noah, channeling her spell, warns Yahello that it may not last more than 5 minutes. Using mana, thus launching the ball into the air, she reveals that 5 minutes will be enough. He hits the ball hard towards the opponents and Fabian moves to hit it back in the air. He passes it to Vitor, who confidently jumps to return it, but his confidence wavers upon noticing Mumu imposing blocking his path. As he hits the ball, Mumu casually deflects it, extending his hands in the air. Vitor is caught off guard by this, then shouts to his teammates that they should trap him. However, when he looks, he sees that both are struggling against the wind magic attack on them. This worries him, while Noah is just using 2 fingers to stop them, but he feels like he is cheating. The girls are fighting in front of him while he is having immense fun, mocking them to give up, saying that their tricks don't work anymore. However, Fabiana still has her summoning trick up her sleeve. With a serious tone, he slides his book and starts to use summoning magic. Mumu, seeing this, is left speechless in shock. As Fabian manages to summon a giant boar, it's huge with a wild mane, he shouts at the top of his lungs that now he will bring the real fight. The boar starts charging towards them, and as Noah watches it approach, he is shocked to realize they have a summoner. The boar rushes at full speed while Noah channels his wind energy into his hands and shoots towards the boar with all his strength while the beam advances. Noah shouts to Cut, demanding to know why she didn't mention they have a summoner. Cut quickly clarifies that this particular individual is a special case and has never summoned anything before. Just as the beam of wind is about to hit the boar, it leaps off the ground, launching itself towards Noah. Our boy barely manages to dodge, evading, and the boar crashes into the back wall. Noah is trembling, asking if something like this is even allowed in the fight. Meanwhile, Yahello's mind races with thoughts, realizing they are about to lose unless they stop the monster. Noah notices Yahello's distress, and with a calm but confident expression states that he will handle the situation himself. After all, he is the great problem solver. Mumu steps forward, claiming he will take down the monster. His statement shocks everyone since he usually is afraid to fight. Worried about that, Mumu explains that humans have weaker bodies, but he can at least help by facing the monster. Noah agrees, deciding he will deal with Fabian, while Mumu faces the boar. Cut, determined to score. He chooses to focus on the ball while the boys take care of the rest. However, upon making the decision, Vitor smirks ironically and asks if they are ready to start. Yahello, with his usual intense anger evident, confirms. With that, Vitor throws the ball again, sending it towards Yahello. She stops and passes to Cut, who quickly returns it to the back. Fabian is busy controlling the summoned boar, distracted by his concentration. He heard someone calling his name. When Fabian looks up, he is shocked to see Noah ready and prepared to attack. When Noah casts his spell, he reveals to Fabian that to defeat a summoning, they first need to take down the summoner. While Noah speaks, Mumu is holding the boar as if it were a mere 2-year-old child. Noah's arrogance only fuels Fabian's anger, and with a furious shout, Fabian declares he will reveal powers hidden that he has never shown to anyone. As he shouts, the boar's eyes begin to spark, and he breaks free from Mumu's grip, charging directly at Noah, who is in the middle of channeling his spell. Noah quickly turns and barely dodges the wild boar's attack, but in doing so, he realizes something unsettling. The boar is actually not attacking him. The boar charges straight towards Fabian. Launching high into the air, everyone is stunned to see a creature from a summoner attack him this way. Meanwhile, Fabian is in the air, blood splattering around him as he is thrown back to the ground with brutal force. Cuddy realizes she was right all along. Fabio is the half-summoner, and with Fabio on the ground, the monster is left without a master. Growling threateningly, as a result, the judges decide to end the match due to the chaos. It may have been a weak way to win, but Noah's team manages to secure the victory. However, watching from the outside, Eren is not impressed with what happened. Eren even tells everything to his father, revealing that the match was painful to watch and that there are no summoners in the academy who can match his level. The director smiles, casually revealing to Eren that Noah can summon a monster at any moment. Eren becomes furious, realizing that his father made Noah find the treasure on purpose so he could get his hands on the scroll. The director, while sipping his tea, confirms this, leaving Eren with a mix of anger and betrayal. He can't help but feel emotional, because the director's treatment of Noah seems much more favorable than his own. Seeing his son's discomfort, the director reassures Eren, saying he saved something special just for him, so he shouldn't be upset. With a calm smile, he adds that he prepared something extra just to ensure his father's unshakable trust in his plans. The next morning, the sun is shining brightly over the academy. Eren, still feeling a bit tired, gets out of bed and looks out the window. His eyes then fix on his clothes, carefully laid out on the table. After quickly getting dressed, he goes out and greets his teammates. His excited teammate, upon seeing him, takes him to the breakfast room. But Eren can't shake the worry that haunts him about what happened the night before. He keeps wondering what his father meant by something special. Last night, when the director mentioned it, Eren asked about it, and the director revealed the relic. It's the same relic he has been using for experiments. Although Eren didn't know this, the director asks Eren to try to channel his mana into it. Despite his nervousness, Eren agrees, although he can't shake off a feeling of unease. As he begins to channel his mana into the relic, he feels something strange. It's as if his blood is being sucked into the sphere, his whole body being pulled towards it. Eren feels his entire body being drawn, his flesh seemingly sucked by the air, making him feel as if the experience were real, trembling on the ground. He looks at his father and asks what is happening, with the director smiling. He asks if he likes it and suggests that Eren use it to prove his skills in the meantime. Eren, still in shock and breathing heavily, can't shake the image of what just happened. The next day, Eren's team is about to face Noah's team in the tournament. While his teammates tease, Eren remains distracted. Still lost in thoughts about the strange event, Noah wastes no time retorting with a taunt, calling one of them Andrew Tate's left ear, which hits a nerve as the taunts continue. The referee blows the whistle, signaling the start of the match. He serves the ball with a resounding boom, but as it speeds toward one of the bald players on the opposing team, he remains still unable to react. Suddenly, the bald player blends in with his three teammates, all almost identical. They start hitting the ball randomly, making it hard to tell who is touching it, or if anyone touched it twice. Goody finds this both disgusting and confusing. The bald trio sends the ball back toward Mumu with a powerful hit, leaving her a little nervous. However, Teddy Mumu simply puts her hands in front of her and effortlessly blocks the kick. The bald trio is impressed that he stopped their combined effort. Noah is amazed by Mumu's reliability, but Yahello quickly reminds him to keep his focus on Eren and stop him if he dares to summon Noah, confident that he won't let the opponent summon. This time gets ready to use his wind spell. Meanwhile, Eren stands there looking at his chest, still lost in thoughts. He can't get the events of the previous night out of his mind when Eren carries the relic. It reveals its power to him. His father explains that it is his Krino, a relic he has been studying for a long time. The director suggests that Eren use it instead of his summoning book next time, as he will summon a powerful monster like never before. Eren, feeling nervous, avoids asking why his father isn't using the relic. Himself looking at the relic, Eren realizes he has no choice but to follow his father's orders. Meanwhile, Noah asks Mumu to launch him while Eren summons his creature Kyle when the imposing figure of Kyle appears before him. Noah is shocked at the same time. Yahello yells at Eren, asking why he didn't stop summoning. My dude has a job to do. Noah points out that Eren just summoned his monster without using the book. Yahello doesn't care, trying to explain himself in a question if anyone saw Eren using his book. Suddenly, he realizes that something is strange with Eren, just as Yahello is scolding him for relaxing while Yahello continues to badmouth Noah. She looks back and is shocked to see he is emitting a strange red glow with veins pulsing all over his body and his eyes rolled back. Something is seriously wrong with him. Eren, known throughout the academy as the director's son, was actually the son of someone else when he was just a child. Eren was sold to the director by a priest who charged a huge price for him. However, this did not mean he lost anything. In fact, he considered himself lucky because no one dared to mess with him, assuming he was the director's son. This status made him arrogant and rude to whoever he wanted, but also fueled his ambition. This ambition led him to use the relic, seeking a power that cannot be attained naturally. Back in the game, Noah's team is shocked to see Eren in that state. Meanwhile, Eren's invocation, Kyle throws water grenades at them. Noah reacts quickly, using his wind spell to create a shield protecting his team from the projectiles coming their way. As the grenades explode all over the field, dust fills the air, but Noah and his team are protected by their shield. Kyle follows up his attack with a cannon shot, sending a powerful bolt directly at them. Noah's team can barely dodge. While the cut screams that the bolt could easily melt them wherever it hits, melts everything in its path, Mumu, concerned for everyone's safety, offers to handle the monster. Just like he did before, knowing that running is useless. Noah tries to stop him before this time. The monster is very different from the pig Mumu faced before. Meanwhile, Aaron is in a strange state, emitting an overwhelming energy around him. Yahello, equally worried about the situation, asks the referee to do something about it. The referee, clearly nervous, turns and looks at the director in the stands. The director is just staring at him, and when he sees the referee, does not intervene and allows the match to continue. The tension in the air becomes almost unbearable. Noah and his team are so caught up in the chaos that they can't even tell where the balls are at that moment while processing everything. KO fires another cannon shot, which Noah narrowly avoids by dodging, feeling the weight of the situation. Noah decides it's time to get serious. He unleashes a wave of wind toward Kyle, hitting him directly. To everyone's shock, the attack leaves nothing more than a scratch. Noah can't believe that the monster is this strong. Yahello, watching from the sidelines, becomes even more worried about him. She knows Noah has lost to Kyle before, but now the monster seems even stronger. Clearly, there's no chance of winning this fight. In her mind, Yahello knows that she is the only one who can do something about the situation. If her summoning magic works, she tightens her broken arm, applying pressure, and to her shock, it actually works. Meanwhile, Noah is dodging cannon shots one after another from Kyle. Suddenly, Yahello yells for him to get out of the way, revealing that she managed to summon the ground. Noah, noticing her success, gets excited, happy for her success. Yahello, now confident, and orders everyone to leave everything to her and her monster. She commands Groot to attack the beast, advancing against Aaron's monster, but he intercepts with a powerful right hook, throwing Groot through the air. He crashes against the wall, and the entire crowd is stunned. For the first time, Aaron defeated Yahello, something that had never happened before. Yahello is incredulous, unable to comprehend how her rank was defeated so easily. Kyle, now even more ferocious, reloads his cannon and aims it directly at Yahello, frozen in shock. Yahello can only watch as Kyle releases the powerful beam. Noah, noticing the imminent danger, jumps in front of Yahello to protect her. The fish hits, exploding in a massive blast. When the dust settles, a strange shadowy monster stands in front of Yahello and Noah, its threatening presence sending chills through the arena. The dark energy monster just saved them from certain death. Both Yahello and Noah are in shock, unable to comprehend what just happened. The monster then turns to Kyle, and with a single blow, easily defeats him. It is the director's summon, and having seen enough, he intervenes to stop the fight. Meanwhile, Aaron, still in his strange state, is kneeling on the ground. Struggling to stay conscious, he staggers, unable to maintain his balance, and eventually collapses, falling face first to the ground. The master, with his imposing presence, captures everyone's attention, turns to announce that the tournament is now suspended until further notice. Another announcement to be made. Noah's team remains in stunned silence, worried and confused about what just happened. As it is the director's decision, they have no choice but to accept it. Back in the boys' dormitory at the academy, Noah and Mumu enter the room, both visibly exhausted. It was a tough day, even more strange due to Aaron's attack. Mumu, equally perplexed, wonders aloud why this happened, but Noah is equally clueless, having never witnessed anything like this before. Noah knows he is lucky, not because they weren't hurt, but because they have a chance to win by default, according to him. If they keep winning like this, they could end up in first place. As he speaks, he absently spins a book on his finger, but suddenly a page slips and falls into his lap. Noah's eyes widen in shock, realizing it is the same letter that offered him 40,000 gold coins in exchange for spying on Yahello. Noah is confused about how the letter ended up in the book, but then he has a sudden realization that it is the letter he forgot to respond to, worth 40,000 gold. And he hopes with all his heart that it is not too late to respond. He quickly grabs a pen and starts looking for paper, seeing Mumu still awake. He tells him to go to sleep, not wanting anyone to know about the letter. Noah sits down and begins to write his response, but he is unsure where to start. So much has happened since he received the letter. He wonders if he should begin with Yahello breaking her arm, since that event started it all. But as his thoughts wander, he becomes increasingly worried about the moment he jumped in front of Yahello to save her. All these overwhelming thoughts cloud his mind, and Noah realizes he needs a break. He decides to step out for some fresh air, hoping that this will clear his mind. As he walks out, he is surprised to see Yahello there. His shock is evident when he asks why she is out at this hour. She replies that she just needs a bit of fresh air. With her usual annoyed expression, she then tries to ask him about the moment he jumped in front of her during the fight. But as she processes the situation, her expression warns him, transforming into one of unexpected gratitude. She thanks him for saving her life. Noah is surprised by the sudden change in her behavior, stuttering. He awkwardly responds that it's no big deal. He now feels a bit nervous, realizing there's a growing tension between them, a mix of feelings that neither of them has fully acknowledged yet. As night falls, on his way back to his room, still processing the encounter, he tries once more to write the response letter, but his mind keeps drifting back to the events of the day and the connection unexpected that he just shared with Yahello. However, Noah crumples the letter in frustration, Now he considers Yahello a friend, and it doesn't feel right to proceed with the request, while he struggles with his thoughts. Mumu is cozy in her pajamas, snuggled in her bed, oblivious to Noah's internal battle. After a moment of contemplation, Noah makes a decision. He decides to write the... But this time he rejects the request. He mentions that he will return the advance of 10,000 gold pieces. And curious about the situation, he asks for the client's name before sending it, while in the meantime, in the floating kingdom, Rubem is in his office, surrounded by piles of books. His exhausted assistant is dozing on the floor, realizing something important. Rubem informs her that he will have to leave for a while. Startled, she asks where he is going with a letter in hand. Rubem extends it towards her, revealing his destination. He is going to the Reni Academy of Odian. The next day at the academy, everyone is talking about what happened in the volleyball game the night before when the class settles down. The supervisor arrives and orders everyone to sit. She then announces that due to the incident at the tournament event, the tournament is canceled for the year. Upon hearing this, the whole class is incredulous. Thinking it's not fair, the supervisor explains that the prizes will be awarded based on everyone's scores up until the last day. Upon hearing this, Cootie begins to calculate his points in his mind like a human calculator. Meanwhile, Aaron's friends, the bald guys, are worried and ask about Aaron's condition. The supervisor reveals that he is recovering from his injuries, which makes the trio even more worried about their leader. However, the supervisor admits that she doesn't know much more about his condition. In her thoughts, she recalls meeting with the principal. When she asked about Aaron, Aaron's injuries were severe and he may need some time to recover. The supervisor also expressed her concern about Aaron having access to such a dangerous relic, to which the principal revealed that Aaron was unconscious. The worried supervisor agreed, but the director, with a fierce look, took full responsibility for what happened. This makes the supervisor even more nervous, pulling her thoughts away and bringing her back to the present. Taking a deep breath, she informs the class about the final exams that are about to start. The announcement is met with various reactions from the students, who are still unhappy with the tournament cancellation. Meanwhile, Yahello is laughing to herself while listening to everyone complain. On the other hand, our boy is starting to feel a knot in his stomach for Yahello. In the basement was a rope, screaming in panic. Aaron is shocked by the dark and scary place he is in. Aaron asks what is happening. The director sternly reminds him that he almost killed his opponent during the last volleyball match. This revelation leaves Aaron incredibly nervous and worried, as he starts to wonder if he really took Noah's life. However, the director lies, telling Aaron that Noah's life doesn't matter. Instead, he claims that the real problem is that Aaron killed Yahello, the noble daughter of Lord Sigrin. The director elaborates on the immense influence of the Sigrin family and how killing their only daughter is not a small matter. Trying to further manipulate Aaron, the director lies again, saying that he kept him in the basement to protect him. Aaron is shocked, having just woken up. The director also reveals that he is protecting the relic, saying that he leaves Aaron alone in the basement, leaving him in a state of shock and disbelief. Eventually, Aaron falls asleep and begins to dream of the church where he was sold during his childhood. In his dream, he is in front of the church when a little girl calls for him. She asks if Aaron is afraid of going back to the place he left behind. Aaron is visibly nervous and is left speechless when another child appears and asks if he feels any guilt. The child states that since Aaron is destined to become a soldier on the battlefield, he will inevitably end up killing someone, so that might be acceptable. As Aaron becomes more worried, more children appear, haunting him with reminders of his guilt. They insist that it's his decision, and that he needs to accept it mentally. Overwhelmed, Aaron screams, declaring that he killed no one. Suddenly, a strange noise arises from behind. It's a nauseating sound of blood pooling and swirling. The mass of blood begins to take on a humanoid shape and speaks in a chilling tone, asking Aaron to tell him what he wants to hear. Aaron lets out a high-pitched scream that echoed through the darkness. Meanwhile, in Mumu's garden, Noah and his group are savoring burgers while chewing. Yahello suddenly stops, realizing that something is wrong. At first, everyone thinks she is talking about the burgers, until she reveals her real concern that they haven't received any explanation about what happened to Aaron during the volleyball game. According to her, many strange things have been happening at the gym lately, and this incident is one of the most intriguing. Noah agrees with Yahello, admitting that there is definitely something suspicious at the gym since the beginning. However, since he has never been to a gym before, he assumes that all gyms are like this. Yahello thinks his disinterest is strange, but continues to express his suspicions about the gym, denying involvement with the monster they faced. Cut intervenes, confirming that they were reprimanded for not even mentioning the subject. This revelation leaves Yahello irritated with Cut for giving up so easily. While Noah's mind wanders elsewhere to the left, he can't understand who would make such a strange request to him, or why. Despite his curiosity, he hesitates to ask Yahello about it, knowing that she is always angry, so Noah decides to deal with it on his own. Determined to solve the mystery by himself to take control of the situation, Noah decides to leave the gym. Reminding himself that he is a great problem solver, he returns to the bar where he originally received the first request. There he finds the bartender, kind of Andrew Tate, who looks visibly shocked to see him. The bartender, however, is slightly irritated, giving Noah a lesson for not having visited him even once since he enrolled in the gym. Rene. Noah dodges with a half-hearted lie about being very busy and quickly changes the conversation to the matter at hand. He explains everything to the bald guy, sharing his suspicions that whoever made the spying request could also be responsible for sending the wolf plushie to Hilo. According to Noah, it has to be someone close to Hilo who made these requests, but he can't understand why someone would do such a thing. While pouring out his thoughts, the bald bartender continues, focused on cleaning his glasses. Frustrated, Noah asks if he is at least listening calmly. The bartender puts the glass aside and then out of nowhere slaps Noah hard, clearly irritated. He reprimands Noah for coming back after so long just to start making demands. Noah feels the pain in his head, but keeps his composure. The bartender severely reminds him that revealing details about customers would be a breach of trust. Noah finds it stubbornly annoying, but an idea occurs to him. He has a backup plan, which is to steal the bartender's logbook. Just as he is formulating the plan in his mind, another punch comes down on his head, pulling him out of his thoughts. Noah trembles in pain, confused about the reason for the second hit. Meanwhile, the bald bartender. Baldy did this to get Noah out of his reckless behavior. He warns Noah severely not to let his misplaced sense of justice lead him to groan in pain in the head. Noah reluctantly agrees to let it go and leave as he walks away. The bartender casually calls out, asking Noah to bring a souvenir next time. Noah immediately declines, stating that he has no plans to return. He doesn't like being treated like that, but the bartender, with a confident smile, murmurs to himself that Noah will eventually come back to reason, and everything will turn out fine for him in the end. Returning, he doesn't realize he's late. As night falls, rushing towards the academy, he panics upon seeing that he has already missed curfew. Upon arriving at the academy gates, he is shocked to find them closed, contemplating jumping the wall as he has done before. His attention is drawn to a visitor standing at the gate. It seems unusual for someone to visit the academy so late. While Noah tries to see more closely who it is, a guard catches him. The guard grabs him by the ear and drags him toward the gate, where the nighttime visitor is also waiting to enter. The guard at the gate asks Noah sternly if he has permission to leave campus. In response, Noah quickly pulls out a permission slip from his pocket to prove he is authorized to leave. The guard examines the slip and reads Noah's name aloud. Upon hearing it, the visitor becomes visibly anxious and demands immediate entry. Noah, surprised by the urgency in the visitor's voice, observes curiously as the guard opens the gate. When the visitor enters, Noah can't shake the feeling that he has seen this person before. He stares intently, trying to stimulate his memory. The guard notices Noah's behavior and finds it strange. With a sigh, the guard tells him to stop looking at the guy. According to them, he is a visitor from the Royal Academy of Studum. Despite this revelation, Noah remains confused, certain he has encountered the man somewhere before. The visitor is Ruben, who we encountered earlier, now intentionally disguised to go unnoticed. He has silky hair that he is very proud of, but there is no other way to hide his identity. As a researcher at an international institution responsible for dealing with forbidden relics, he is here for an investigation. Upon entering the academy, Ruben is welcomed by the supervisor, who is excited to show him around. She is visibly surprised that someone from the prestigious Royal Academy has come to visit. Noticing her excitement, Ruben apologizes for the inconvenience of arriving unannounced. However, the supervisor enthusiastically dismisses the concern, assuring him that it's no problem at all and expressing how delighted she is to meet him. She is a bit shocked, because she thinks researchers' interests usually focus more on military issues, so seeing him in an educational institution is really surprising. Hearing the supervisor's knowledge on the subject, Ruben begins to worry. Now, it seems to him that playing a role there might be difficult since he does not know much about education. The truth is, he has a personal reason to come as he is looking for someone. However, the supervisor starts to get a bit suspicious about his interest in the students. Nervous, Ruben tries to lighten the mood by saying that it simply reminds him of when he was their age. Although the supervisor seems to accept his explanation, Ruben remains restless, fearing he has aroused her suspicion. As the supervisor dispels her doubts, she excitedly asks Ruben to lead a special lecture for the students. Upon hearing this, Ruben lets out a sigh of relief, happy that she hasn't discovered his true intentions. However, he knows he now needs to be careful. Realizing this, he lies, claiming that he is not a good speaker. In a suspicious tone, the supervisor asks if he is one of those researchers who only cares about work. The reciter Ruben agrees, which impresses her even more. She then asks him to be a role model for the students. Ruben realizes that she is incredibly enthusiastic, and if this continues, his plans will be ruined. In the classroom, the trio is scribbling something on the whiteboard. They seem really worried, and when they finish, it's a get well message for Aaron along with a drawing. Meanwhile, in the background, Noe is still worried about the client who requested the espionage work. While sitting next to Hilo, he leans in and asks if she knows someone who knows her well and also suspects her. This question confuses her, then Noe speculates that it could be her butler who might be after her inheritance, or possibly a brother, and Hilo denies both, saying her butler is a sweetheart, and that she has no siblings. However, when she mentions not having siblings, she pauses for a moment. Suddenly, she jumps up from the bench shouting that they will have to go back to the forest where they saw that zombie monster. She points at Mumu and Cutie, signaling for them to get ready, but both start making excuses, terrified of going back while the conversation continues. The supervisor enters the room with Ruben following her. She announces him as a special guest for the class, revealing that she invited a speaker from the Royal Academy. Ruben greets everyone, feeling embarrassed, while Yahello, seeing him, is shocked. Besides being shocked, she recognizes him as her brother. The same Ruben who left after a fight with their father. While Ruben talks with the group, he also realizes what he came to find. His full name is Ruben Hannah Seagrand, and he is here to find his little sister. But what happened that made him leave the Seagrand Palace? One night when Ruben's father informed him that he was willing to go to war. Ruben was furious. He was outraged that his mother was absent and Yahello still so young. But his father planned to go to a war that wasn't even in his country. The father yelled at him, saying that he didn't need Ruben's approval. He shouted that as the head of the family he made the decisions, and everyone simply had to follow them. This devastated Ruben inside and discouraged him. He decides to leave the palace forever. Yahello, upon seeing him leave, runs to him to stop him even though it is raining torrentially. However, despite her pleas, he had already decided. He said that he and his father did not agree on anything, so it was better for him to leave now that he is back. Yahello is shocked that Ruben left years ago, so what could be the reason for his return while the class continues? Aaron remains locked in the basement unconscious with the relic still by his side. Slowly, he begins to move, just to hallucinate that Yahello is sitting in front of him, staring at him with an intensely unsettling gaze. Her eyes are filled with a terrifying energy, holding him in place while this... In the classroom, Ruben explains the fundamental rules about ancient relics. He emphasizes that for every positive, there is always negative one. Essentially, if someone uses one relic to gain something, they inevitably must lose something in return. To illustrate this, he gives one example. Someone can gain immense power through the relic, but in return their life is gradually drained. While the students listen attentively, Yahello is trembling with rage, visibly disturbed by the lecture. Ruben continues, explaining that those who use relics often find themselves trapped in an agonizing and immortal state. The more powerful the artifact, the more severe the suffering. While Ruben continues his explanation, the same terrifying experience is unfolding in the basement with Aaron. In his delirium, Aaron hallucinates that Yahello is sitting in front of him. She leans in, pressing further, and asks if he is surprised to see her there. She claims that he has feelings for her, but hearing this makes Aaron feel nauseous. Yahello's behavior changes as she presses him further, asking again if he likes her. Suddenly, her form transforms into a grotesque and blood-soaked mask that lunges directly at Aaron. The mask spreads against the wall behind him, with their twisted and contorted faces mocking him, each whispering hauntingly, asking Aaron if he wants to see. The grotesque horror seems to consume Aaron from the inside out as he struggles to escape the madness. The figure haunts him incessantly, pushing even deeper into his fear, provoking. With the promise of revealing its true form, the relic ruthlessly pushes Aaron, trying to force him to awaken it. Aaron, barely able to endure, holds his head and screams for it to leave him alone. He is visibly exhausted, his energy drained, while the relic lies on the ground right in front of him. It is the relic itself that causes all this torment, its dark power trying to manipulate him into using it. Meanwhile, in the classroom, Ruben shifts the focus to the dangers of summoning magic. He acknowledges that many of the students present are summoners, but he warns them about the unknowns surrounding their powers. He emphasizes that no one really knows where these summoned monsters come from or what worlds the magic connects them to. Ruben then speculates that summoning magic could even be a form of blessing, granted to them by an unknown force. Ruben leaves everyone tense, warning that they may not fully understand what summoning magic is really capable of, or what secrets it may be hiding. The entire class falls silent, absorbing the weight of his words. With that, Ruben concludes the lecture cut is clearly impressed with his vast knowledge, while Mumu also offers her praise. Meanwhile, Noah feels a new wave of excitement for summoning magic, seeing it as a secret and unexplored power. He excitedly praises Yahello for her strength, but to his surprise, she stands up and leaves without saying a word. Noah just watches her leave the classroom, wondering what caused her sudden departure. When Ruben walks down the hallway, he is suddenly grabbed and pulled into a room. His disguise falls and he finds himself face to face with Yahello. She is visibly furious, grumbling. While demanding to know what he is doing there, Ruben looks at her with his frozen expression that increasingly irritates her. She grabs him by the neck, lifting him off the ground. She demands that he reveals everything, asking if he still considers her his sister, while she yells at him, "Noah, our very own 007. Here's their conversation. He is frozen in shock as he realizes the truth. Noah is now in a complicated situation. All he did was follow Ailu, thinking of her as a friend who is just upset, but now he found out that Ruben is her brother. The revelation hits him hard, and he struggles to process all of it, to make things even more confusing. He can't understand why Elo beat Ruben after delivering the beating. Elo demands to know why Ruben is there. Ruben stands up, clears his throat, and finally reveals the truth. He is there to get her. Yahello, still confused, listens as Ruben explains that Stiduan, although seemingly peaceful, is on the brink of war. He reveals that the last war did not take place within its borders, but what is to come is different, and Ailu Zedeko asks how he knows all of this. Ruben's answer surprises her, revealing that the city itself is planning to start the war. Thousands of soldiers have already been sent to defend the borders of Stygian, with all the noble families volunteering their members to fight. Reuben speculates that the Sigram family must have received the decree too. Dilo's father was even visited by one of the king's royal knights, and the maids and butlers of the Sigrin bowed in respect. The knight apologized for the unannounced visit. He pulled out a scroll and read it aloud. A decree issued by the king announced that the head of the Sigrin family will go to the borders to prepare for war, being a royal order. There was nothing her father could do. Upon hearing this, Yahello feels disheartened. She knows her father spoke against the war. In the presence of the king, according to her, he chose to express his opposition, even if it puts his reputation at risk and subjects the Sigrin name to ridicule. Reuben denies, arguing that their father also participated in the last war. When he didn't need to, he doesn't believe their father could change so easily. However, Yahello, confident in her belief, shouts back, insisting that he can change. She thinks that their father is filled with regret even if he doesn't admit it. Reuben, enraged, retorts, calling their father a coward for running away. According to him, their father uses the war as an excuse to abandon them because he can't handle their mother's death. Upon hearing this, Yahello slams her fist against the wall, freezing Reuben. For a moment, she reminds him that this is exactly what he did, abandoning her and fleeing. Reuben, stunned by her words, falls silent, realizing the truth in her accusation. He is shocked by her strength and reluctantly accepts his own actions while this is not observing the whole scene through the keyhole. Suddenly, he realizes he is heading towards the door, which makes him panic and hide behind it. Yahello then slams the door and runs out of the academy. Noah is surprised to see tears in her eyes as he watches her leave. He laughs and calls out. He refers to Noah as a fixer, implying that he has business with him as Yahello rushes to leave. The rain has stopped, but she seems disheartened by what Hilbert said. He wants her to leave the state before the war begins, and for that reason, he is staying at the academy to give her time to consider his offer. Yahello, however, remains silent, lost in her thoughts. Back in the present, Yahello finds herself deep in the forest, thinking about the choice she has to make. Back at the academy, Robin reveals to Noah that it was him who asked to spy on Yahello. Noah is shocked, asking why Hilbert made such a request. Hilbert in turn responds with a question, questioning why Noah refused his request and why he has been following Yahello since then. This question leaves Noah irritated, and pounding his chest, he boldly claims it is his choice. Even Hilbert finds this answer strange, and while Noah tries to explain, he mentions that it is due to a career crisis. He shyly admits that they are friends, but Hilbert doesn't find it convincing. Noah is also curious about why Hilbert asked him to spy on his own sister. Hilbert shrugs and explains that he is just worried about her as a brother. Noah still doesn't find this explanation convincing, but instead of continuing to argue, he decides to leave Hilbert and questions Noah about his outburst of anger, sudden to which Noah furiously reveals that they should both be looking for Yahello because they are both really worried about her despite being a bit surprised. Reuben agrees with him. Meanwhile, in the basement, Aaron is running toward an exit. He feels hopeful, motivating himself to push harder because he is so close. However, when he is about to reach it, everything around him begins to crumble. Suddenly, he falls to the ground. As bloody tentacles burst from the ground, piercing his skin, Aaron lets out a piercing scream, but then realizes he is unscathed, sitting in the basement in front of the relic. The relic did this again, and is pressing him more than ever to use its power. It transforms back into the form of Yahello, revealing that it hopes Aaron gives up now, but he has exceeded its expectations. Tired, Aaron grabs the relic and starts hitting the massive metal door countless times with it. The form of Yahello appears again, mocking him, stating that he can't escape like this. However, Aaron, filled with rage, swings the locket in form with all his strength. Meanwhile, deep in the jungle, Hero is kicking a tree in frustration, consumed by the words his brother said. She keeps kicking, shouting about how she has friends at the academy, but now he wants her to go away with him with all his strength. She delivers one last powerful kick, releasing her furious anger. Even though her father might defend himself, there is still the house team to consider. While wondering what she should do, she hears rustling in the nearby bushes. Looking, she sees Aaron holding his summoning book in his hand. Aaron looks at her, and for a moment, he thinks she is the same figure that has been pushing him to use the relic. Yahello is confused by all of this when suddenly Aaron unleashes a powerful spray of blood attack, sending directly towards her. She barely manages to dodge, jumping to the side, but not without receiving a deep cut on her arm. Furious, she runs towards Aaron to yell at him, but her anger quickly turns to fear as she realizes he has transformed into a first monstrous form, emitting a strange red aura. She immediately realizes that this is much worse than she had imagined. This time, Ko, who is normally armed with water cannons, advances, but instead of the usual, he unleashes a fierce blood cannon powered by large blood cylinders and radiating a strong, threatening aura. Yahello, in front of this, immediately realizes that she made a mistake. Ko raises his fist, and without giving her a moment to react, he attacks. She barely dodges while her mind races, screaming in confusion, questioning why Aaron is attacking her and what is happening with his monstrous form. Aaron remains silent, with his relentless monster launching attack after attack, and she struggles to dodge all of them, hardly able to keep up with the onslaught. Suddenly, the monster raises its fist and extends it toward Yahello, catching her by surprise when it's just inches away from her. She manages to summon her own monster that intercepts the attack halfway. Yahello screams for Aram to stop, desperation in her voice as it seems he is trying to kill her. However, her words fall on deaf ears. Kaio launches another attack with relentless aggression. While Aram remains in the background mumbling incoherent words to himself, Yahello looks at him and wonders if he has completely lost his mind. She tries to bring him back to reality, shouting that the torment is over. But in Aram's fragmented reality, Yahello is not there for him. She is the figure from before, the one who provokes and torments him. Thinking about this, he tightly grips the relic. He is consumed by guilt, convinced that it is his fault that someone's life has ended. Yahello screams for him to stop, but he roars back, revealing in a terrifying and inhuman tone that to him, she is already dead. His words terrify her, but there is no time to waste on them. Kaio leaps into the air, aiming a devastating blow at Garocha. However, Iluis, his monster, manages to dodge in time, taking the moment to order Garocha to counterattack. The creature rushes at Kaio from behind, slamming its head into the ground with full force. The impact creates a brief opening, and Yahello charges toward Eren, determined to put an end to this madness. But just as she is about to attack, Kaio extends his massive hand and grabs her in the middle of her charge, holding her tightly. Before she can react, Kaio delivers a crushing blow to Garocha, sending him crashing to the ground. Yahello's heart sinks as she realizes how incredibly powerful the monster really is. As Yahello struggles against her restraints, Eren approaches. The relic is tightly gripped in her trembling hands. She notices the strange glow, instantly realizing that it is the source of this madness. Eren sits in front of her. With almost manic expressions, he begs her to disappear with a trembling voice, claiming he is tired of seeing her. Meanwhile, Kaio prepares another devastating attack. Charging it with the same malevolent energy as before, with a deafening roar, he launches it straight at Yahello. When the explosion is about to hit, Garish jumps in front of her, taking the full impact of the attack. Eren freezes in shock at the scene, unable to process what just happened. Garish, unperturbed, begins, tearing off the shackles that bind Yahello. Eren's eyes widen upon realizing that she is not dead. The truth hits him like a lightning bolt, but it's too late. Yahello is already running towards him with his fist crackling with magic, ready to end this once and for all. Meanwhile, deep in the jungle, Noah and Ruben are still searching for Yahello. The dense jungle is difficult. Noah can't shake off the worry that consumes him, that it's not like her to skip class, much less disappear without explanation. As he ponders, his heart races as a noise cracks in the distance and Yahello appears staggering, holding her injured arm with a pale and tired face. Behind her, Garocha advances silently, carrying an unconscious spider in his huge arms without a second thought. Noah runs towards her, calling her name, shocked. As soon as he reaches her, Yahello collapses against his chest, leaving him stunned, holding Yahello while she trembles against him. However, someone in the background is not so pleased. Ruben feels a bit of jealousy. The boy, realizing that the moment has passed, carefully places Eren down on the ground and silently disappears. Still trembling, he manages to grab something and extend it to Ruben. It's the relic that Eren was using, although now it's cracked, revealing a glowing blue substance swirling inside. The sight of this makes Ruben's eyes widen in shock as he instantly recognizes the true nature of the relic. Back in the Academy's medical office, Yahello and Eren are resting in separate beds, with Noah and Ruben beside them. Ruben is engrossed in studying the relic with intense concentration, while Noah sits beside Yahello, still tired from taking care of her all night. Yahello tries to relax, unable to shake off the discomfort of being observed all night, even though she understands that Noah was there to care for her. Frustrated, she explodes at him, calling for his attention, conscious of something that is not in her nature to accept. With a pointed gesture at Eren, she reminds him that maybe the wounded Aram needs more care than she does, as it's in his blood. Noah can't help but think about how her comment sounds cheesy, while Helben, after carefully examining the relic, looks at Yahello with a serious expression, ready to ask him some important questions. Yahello recounts everything he witnessed in the forest, detailing Eren's strange behavior. Helben, seeking confirmation, asks if anything in common happened with Eren after using the relic, and Yahello confirms that Eren was in a half-conscious and half-unconscious state. Helben, processing this information, speculates that the relic might be the ancient Exocrino, a powerful artifact that disappeared years ago during the Galagon War. He explains that during the war, soldiers stationed in a desert region received a mysterious light signal. It was discovered that an ancient relic had been unearthed on the battlefield, prompting a request for the wizards to protect it. Helben continues, revealing that when the soldiers arrived at the site, it was nothing less than a meat shop, and the relic had disappeared from its box. It truly was part of the team of wizards sent to protect the artifact, and since then he has been tracking its whereabouts. To his surprise, the relic reappeared after 8 years of disappearance. Besides that, it seems worn, suggesting that it has adapted to its environment and is somehow interacting with the surrounding atmosphere, something quite unusual for such an artifact. While explaining all this, Ruben notices Noah's casual expression and asks if he doesn't care about the relic. Noah, remaining calm, admits that he is not familiar with ancient relics or wars. However, he expresses his desire to help in any way he can. Ruben is a bit taken aback by Noah's response, but soon assures that they don't need to help. He corrects himself, ordering them not to get involved as the situation is too dangerous. He wants them to leave the rest to the adults. Since he has already contacted headquarters, a team will arrive in 2 days. Ruben suggests that Ilo rest, while Noah should return to his classes. Noah wants to help with the artifact, but Ruben is confident that the wizards will take care of it. According to him, there is no reason for teenagers to get involved in something so serious upon leaving the nurse's office. Noah considers skipping class, but then he notices the principal rushing past him. This shocks him, thinking about what the principal could be doing here at this hour. Meanwhile, back in the nurse's office, Ruben feels a bit embarrassed about what he said to Hilo. However, Hilo confronts directly about lying regarding the investigation team. This takes her by surprise, but she manages to realize that he is lying. After all, he is her brother. Hilo, worried, asks if something is wrong, and Ruben reluctantly reveals that he is waiting for a response from headquarters, but Hilo sees right through him, knowing that he is just making excuses. While they are talking, there is an aggressive knock on the door that catches them by surprise. Ruben quickly runs to put on his disguise before opening the door. To his surprise, it is the director, as they do not know each other. The director asks about his presence. After a brief awkward pause, Ruben introduces himself, explaining that he found Aaron unconscious and brought him to the infirmary. The director does not seem relieved. He walks straight to Aaron's bed, examining him closely, then asks if there is anyone else with Aaron. Ruben pretends not to understand the question, avoiding a direct answer. This infuriates the director, who glares at Ruben and asks again. Ruben is in shock when suddenly he feels a sharp pain piercing his stomach. While he grabs it, the director remains still. Casting a dark spell, the pain intensifies and Ruben collapses to the floor with an excited look. The director grabs the relic, marveling at the fact that it is almost complete in his hands. The relic seems to heal completely. However, after a brief glance at Aran, the director murmurs that Aran is not enough for the reliquary. His gaze turns to a corner where he asks what she thinks, knowing that Hilo is hiding there. Meanwhile, Hilo is in disbelief and terror, afraid of being caught in the academy cafeteria. Everyone is enjoying their lunch. Mumu and Cut are already eating when Noah joins them. Mumu asks about Hilo, noticing that she is not with him. Noah is a bit surprised as he thought she had already left the infirmary. Mentioning the infirmary makes Cut stop. Worried that Hilo might have gotten hurt, Noah suddenly realizes that Hilo might not have eaten anything. So he grabs his plate to take it to her. Excited to show her what he brought, Noah enters the office, but is shocked to find it empty. He then goes to other students to ask about Hilo, but no one has seen her around. He quickly informs the supervisor, who gets angry with him. According to the supervisor, no student can leave the academy, and she yells at Noah, insisting that Hilo would not leave before the final exam. Cut speculates that Hilo might be studying somewhere, but Noah is increasingly worried, thinking that Ruben might have taken her with him. Growing more anxious, Noah suggests they search for Hilo. They head into the jungle, although Cut and Mumu are confused about why they are there. Noah explains that he already checked the academy and she is not there, so it's possible that she left without informing anyone. He also remembers Hilo, saying that they should return to the place where they saw the monster. That's why Noah brought them here. Despite his doubts, Noah can't believe that Hilo would leave the academy. While lost in thought, Cudio and Momu suggest that she might have gone home since it's the weekend. Upon hearing this, Noah suddenly shouts, revealing something about her. But in the middle of the path, he quickly ignores them and continues, saying that it's strange she hasn't left any trace at all. Throughout the weekend, he insists that they need to find her because friends take care of each other. Trying to motivate them to help, this only makes Cut think Noah is even more worried nonetheless. Both agree to follow Noah's lead. Noah has a feeling that something terrible happened to Hilo, and as they enter the restricted area, his instincts are confirmed. They are stunned when they come across a pile of bodies along with the same zombie they encountered earlier. Noah instantly recognizes the zombie from the tournament days. He wonders if this is what the zombie was trying to warn them about when it was mumbling. While Noah ponders this, he carefully moves around the pile, leaving Cut curious about his actions. As he goes around, he discovers a hidden door behind the pile that is open. When Noah approaches the door, he turns to Curie and Mumu, determined he can't go back empty-handed. He has to find Hilo. Curie and Mumu complete his sentence, saying that they are all friends. With that, they pass through the door, descending into the unknown as they go down. Noah can't help but reflect on Hilo's warning about not going too far. She might be right. This seems to be much more than he can handle. When they reach the bottom, they find themselves in front of a closed door, realizing they have reached a dead end. However, Noah reminds Mumu about the key he got in the tournament, the one that could open any door. When Noah takes the key and prepares to open the door, Cut's worry increases. She fears that someone might be inside, perhaps the same person responsible for the pile of bodies they discovered. Her concern is enough to unsettle Noah too, reminding him of the bald bartender's words about losing his sense of justice. This hits Noah strongly, that if he continues like this, he might really regret it. Then a thought crosses his mind and a small smile appears on his face. He realizes that he would regret even more if he turned back now. With this determination, he pushes the door Paranas, only to be met with the unexpected sight of the principal's office. Everyone stands in disbelief, but their shock deepens upon seeing Ilo unconscious and tied to a chair. They rush towards Ilo. While in the hallway, the principal is heading somewhere with Ciros behind him. Ciros is informing the director about recent events at the academy, including the unexplained absences. He offers to ask the students for an explanation, but the director dismisses the idea, insisting that he wants them to explain things in person. He lies, saying he would be busy and that Ciros doesn't need to worry about it. Ciros reluctantly agrees while the director gives a firm order to increase security at the academy. Meanwhile, back at the director's office, Noah and his group struggle to untie the ropes from Hilo. Seeing Noah's difficulty, suggests they take Hilo to her room, where she might be able to use her tools to help untie her. Cut is worried they might get caught, but Noah knows it's already too late upon hearing footsteps approaching. Realizing he has no time, he quickly prepares his wind spell and aims at a nearby window, breaking it. The director, who is about to open the door, freezes for a moment, stopping upon hearing the sound. Noah frantically shouts for the others to take Hilo and escape through the window. He knows that with the broken window, the force field won't work. But as he is explaining, the director enters the room. Noah notices and quickly tries to distract him, signaling for the others to hide again, claiming he accidentally broke the window. The director, with a cold look, responds that this is the third time he has done this. The director, unfazed, decides to punish Noah for breaking the window, ordering him to clean the bathroom while Noah tries to keep the director distracted. Mumu, Cutie, and Ilu huddle under his desk, hiding in an attempt to divert attention even further. Noah casually asks the director where he was the previous day. The director, raising an eyebrow, asks why Noah is suddenly curious about that. Noah laughs nervously, claiming there is no particular reason, but then in a bold move, he gathers his mana and launches it towards the director, shouting that he is asking because he might have killed someone. As the wind magic cuts through the air towards the director, he freezes in place. Noah, seeing that his attack has no effect, shouts for everyone to run, but just as they are about to escape, he hears the director's voice. The director asks if Noah has a moment to answer a question. Noah is stunned, realizing that his attack didn't leave a scratch on him. The director, with his incisive tone, inquires if Noah has become a summoner. Confused, Noah tries to understand the question. The director's eyes begin to glow as he insists, asking again if Noah has mastered summoning, still uncertain about why the director is asking such a thing. Noah remains silent. The director, upon realizing that Noah is not responding, understands that he is not a summoner after all. Without hesitation, he prepares his own dark magic attack, realizing that the director is aiming at him. Mumu arrives in time. He throws himself, pulling Noah with him, as the dark magic attack tears through the air. The explosion hits the wall, tearing it completely, leaving both Mumu and Noah shaken. But still standing, Mumu quickly regains his balance and, thinking fast, throws a nearby sofa towards the director with a simple finger movement. The director effortlessly cuts it in half. His power is undeniable, but his behavior remains unsettlingly calm as the director blocks the sofa. He realizes it was a distraction. Mumu and Noah took the moment to escape, but despite their escape, the director does not pursue them. His eyes remain on the office where Hilo is still tied up and abandoned. He turns to the unconscious, saying coldly that her friends left her behind while they escaped. As Mumu moves further away, he finally lets go of Noah, and both are panting from the intense run. Mumu is exhausted, but Noah remains silent, dazed, unable to process everything. However, to everyone's shock, Noah suddenly grabs Mumu by the collar and throws him against the wall. He is furious as he screams, demanding to know why Mumu abandoned Hilo. When he saved everyone, the poor Mumu stammers, explaining that he left Hilo behind because Noah was in danger. However, Noah is furious, yelling at him that he told Mumu to take Hilo and run. He is angry with Mumu for prioritizing him, but Noah, frustrated, yells back at Noah, pointing out that his attack didn't even work, and that's why they have no chance of getting Hilo. Realizing that Noah is right, and his anger begins to fade as emotion takes over. Noah, however, is confident that Hilo will be fine. She believes that the director did not take his life, even if it seems that he is using it for something. She also points out that the director did not pursue them, which gives her hope. Hearing this, Noah realizes that he acted out of panic, and with a deep sigh apologizes to them for not thinking clearly. Mumu, however, is worried about what they should do next. Noah knows they can't just stand still, although he acknowledges that he is no match for the director. He also understands that doing nothing is not an option. A slight smile appears on his face as he realizes there is something they can use. Upon touching it in the seat, a wave of relief. Happy to be back to this, although he is worn out, he is confident that he can make it work. With that, he pulled out the crumpled summoning scroll, remembering how Hilo reprimanded him for messing it up, before he places the scroll in the circle and begins to study it carefully. With determination in his eyes, when the summoning circle is activated, a strong flash of light bursts around Noah. He can't help but remember Hilbin's words about summoning monsters and the countless questions he asked during class. He recalls all the doubts, all the confusion amidst the green mana flowing around him. Noah shouts in frustration that he doesn't know about all the questions racing through his mind. His voice echoes, but his determination is clearer than ever. Despite his lack of knowledge about summoning, he knows one thing for sure. He never wants to lose anyone. Again, driven by that determination and a massive amount of mana, Noah channels his energy into the summoning. A powerful bolt shoots skyward from the circle, signaling the ritual's success. The air around him vibrates with intense power as the summoning takes form. When New complete of summoning, he is perplexed to see that the process actually succeeded. There stands a powerful warrior before him. She radiates strength, and her presence commands the space around them. With a calm yet authoritative voice, she holds Noah, stating that from this moment, she will protect him. Meanwhile, back at the academy, Mumu and Cut are sneaking toward the supervisor's office just as Noah instructed. Moving cautiously through the hallways, they manage to enter without drawing attention. They feel relieved to have gone unnoticed. Cut's eyes land on the phone they were looking for, and when she reaches out to grab it, a hand suddenly hits her from behind. They are shocked to see that it's Reuben, seriously injured and in terrible condition. Both let out a scream that wakes a startled Reuben. He is coughing and vomiting uncontrollably while Mumu and Cut continue to scream in panic. Suddenly, they hear the supervisor's voice coming from the bathroom as she enters with more medicine for Reuben. She is also surprised to see them there. Since both were caught, the supervisor makes them kneel as punishment. Meanwhile, looking at the clock, Reuben reveals his true identity to them, saying that he is Hilo's brother and a member of the Cumulos, and that he has the task of keeping the forbidden relics under control. He explains the reason for his visit, which was initially to find his sister, but has since turned into retrieving the relic. During this process, he was attacked, and Hilo was also put in danger. The supervisor listens in silence, before finally revealing that she does not believe his story. Reuben pauses for a moment, then realizes why she is skeptical. To his shock, she states that she will provide basic help and will assist in treating his injuries while allowing him to contact his guardian. Hearing this, Reuben thanks her, feeling a sense of relief. He uses the phone and asks to speak with Lena, while everyone stays behind him, curious about his lengthy conversation. After a while, Reuben hangs up, revealing that the reinforcements will arrive in approximately 2 hours. This news brings relief to everyone. While Reuben also mentions that he needs to discuss something else with the supervisor, he wants to contact someone else upon hearing his request. The supervisor takes him to a private area, while Mumu and Cut are anxiously waiting for the reinforcements amidst the excitement. Mumu asks how they will inform Noah about the reinforcements. Cut, upon hearing this, realizes they haven't even discussed where they will meet him. As night falls, Cyrus and his guards spot Noah wandering the streets. He shouts at Noah for being out so late, and orders him to return to the dormitory. Meanwhile, Noah, tired and uncertain, doesn't know if he should trust Cyrus since he might be involved in what's happening. When Noah refuses to comply with the order, the guards are surprised by his response. Noah, however, reveals that he has a question for Professor Cyrus. Hearing this, the professor responds that Noah can get his answer in class, or after the weekend. To his shock, Noah summons his summoning scroll, shouting that this has nothing to do with the class. He then raises his hand in the air. Channeling mana around him with this, he successfully summons his monster warrior who emanates a powerful wind aura. When she appears, Noah's confidence grows and he boldly asks. Cyrus still refuses to answer his question. Cyrus, feeling disrespected by Noah's refusal to follow orders, unsheathes his sword with a quick movement. He strikes at Noah, but Noah quickly dodges, blinking behind him, impressed with his own speed and strength. Noah charges his wind magic and releases a gust directly at Cyrus's back. The presence of the warrior empowers Noah, but to his shock, Sirius remains unscathed. He pushes his glasses back, realizing that he will have to be tougher with Noah in the blink of an eye. He discards his jacket and runs towards Noah with incredible speed. In an instant, he is above Noah, ready to cut him in half. But when Cyrus attacks with all his strength, Noah shifts to the side, narrowly escaping the strike. This only makes Cyrus more determined, declaring that he will show Noah what happens to students who refuse to listen. The fight began, even while Cyrus fought against Noah. He couldn't shake the feeling that something strange was happening. At the academy first, a teacher had disappeared from class, leading the principal to order Cyrus to attend a meeting in place of the absent teacher, while also entrusting him with increasing security on campus. The principal's cheerful request for Cyrus to work over the weekend had already left him uneasy, but now, one of his students was acting completely out of control. Everything was very bizarre, and Cyrus couldn't help but think that being a teacher was much harder than he had anticipated. Back to the fight, Cyrus swings his sword left and right, with relentless precision, but Noah's dodging each strike as if he is in his Ultra Instinct form. Despite dodging, Noah quickly realizes that Cyrus is much stronger than he had anticipated. His strikes are powerful, but the real terror comes when a sword strike is so fast that it becomes impossible to evade. However, the Akazu's warrior uses her wind magic to push Noah aside, allowing him to evade the unavoidable attack. She controls the wind around Noah, moving quickly through the air and then landing softly back on the ground. Noah is stunned, trying to process how he managed to evade an attack with such precision. Even Cyrus is impressed by his agility, but while Noah stands there confused, He finally realizes that his Akazu summoning is responsible for his miraculous movements. Although this gives him a moment of relief, Noah also understands a crucial fact. He's a summoner now, but simply dodging attacks will not be enough to win this battle. Realizing what he needs to do, Noah rolls up the scroll, leaving the Siros intrigued about his intentions. Holding the Tupper scroll between his teeth, Noah thinks to himself that he has never tried this technique before, but with the help of Akazus, he feels confident that he can succeed. Gathering all his strength, he envelops himself in a powerful gust of wind, the energy surrounding him as he prepares to act. Seeing this, the Sirius becomes increasingly irritated and confused, his frustration leading him to charge at Noah with full force. As the Sirius swings his sword, Akazus raises her arm, invoking a gust of wind that allows Noah to effortlessly dodge the attack. In midair, Noah twists and redirects himself with astonishing speed, leaving Cyrus momentarily stunned by the unexpected maneuver. With a resounding crash, Noah propels himself towards Cyrus, landing directly behind him. The sudden movement catches Cyrus by surprise, and before he can react, Noah executes a powerful kick that sends him flying through the air. The impact leaves Cyrus dazed as he tries to comprehend how fast Noah has become, but Noah is not finished yet. He continues with an unrelenting flurry of kicks and punches, attacking the Siros from all angles. Even while remaining suspended in the air, each strike hits with precision and force, leaving the Siros incredulous. With Noah's incredible speed and power, when Noah returns to the ground, he feels a wave of relief thinking that the technique worked. However, his moment of relief is short-lived, as suddenly he hears someone calling his name from behind. Turning around, he sees Mumu and Cut, who manage to eliminate the remaining guards. Upon seeing them, Noah feels a wave of relief, but the atmosphere changes when the scene cuts to Cyrus sitting alone in a room. With his shoulders slumped in disappointment, he can't shake off the shame of losing to one of his own students. Reuben, noticing Cyrus's dejected state, expresses concern and asks the supervisor if he was in a similar condition when he arrived. The supervisor confirms that he was worse. Meanwhile, Noah and his group are also there, and Noah begins to explain his actions. Awkwardly, he admits that he didn't intend for things to escalate the way they did. With an exciting tone, he reveals that he just returned from his summoning and suspects that Cyrus might be involved with the director's mysterious plans. However, after the confrontation, Noah realizes that even Silros, someone known as the director's right hand, is unaware of what the director is actually doing. According to him, the director is working alone, which might make it easier to confront him. Upon hearing this, Mumu and Kuti fall silent. Then they reveal to Noah that reinforcements are on the way. According to them, help will arrive in 8 hours, so he doesn't need to worry. However, the mention of such a long wait makes Noah anxious. Meanwhile, in the director's office, he is using his magic to create a force field sealing off the entire area of destruction, caused by his explosion. Elo is tied to a chair next to him, helpless. While he tries to intimidate her by bringing the relic dangerously close back to the supervisor's room, Noah realizes that 8 hours will be too late. Determined to act, he decides to rescue Ilo on his own. When Noah is about to leave, Reuben calls out, revealing that it is his fault, that things have come to this point and he can't put anyone else in danger. Noro reassures him by saying that he is stronger now, although he may not be as powerful as the director. He is confident in his ability to rescue Hiro. He is determined, sure that there has to be a way. Noah knows they are in just as much danger if they don't act. However, Reuben grabs Noah, shouting that the director has killed countless people, and no matter how strong Noah has become, he will kill him without hesitation. Noah holds Hilben by the collar, arguing that instead of trying to stop him, Hilben should join him since he is Hilo's brother. He asks if Hilben isn't worried about Hilo and if he plans to just wait 8 hours doing nothing. Upon hearing this, Hilben feels a pang of shame. However, Noah, furious, pushes him away, saying that if Reuben has nothing else to say, he will go alone. When he is about to leave, Reuben interrupts him, stating that he has a plan. The city is strangely silent when a gust of wind cuts through the force field the director created. When the director looks to the street, he sees Noah calling him. With black energy radiating around him, the director steps towards the field mocking Noah, and asking if he came to find his death. Noah, however, is confident in himself. He acknowledges that the director might be right, but assures that he has a plan thanks to Rielben's revelation. Noah now has a hostage exchange strategy. According to Rielben, the director was sacrificing young students with magical abilities to achieve his goals if they offer Noah as bait in exchange for Ilo. This could work. Reuben, however, warns Noah that there is a risk the director won't fall for it, but it is their best chance. The supervisor, on the other hand, is skeptical. Worried about the force field, Reuben explains that for it to work, they will need to lure the director out of his office. He adds that if the director steps out of the force field, they can do something about it. In the present, Cut and Mumu are busy setting up traps outside the building of the director's office, while Reuben watches everything from the supervisor's room through the magic ball. Meanwhile, Noah, according to the plan, offers himself as bait instead of Elo. Claiming to be much stronger, He shouts for the director to come out of the office and face him. The director finds the demand intriguing but is curious about why he should agree. Though nervous, Noah overcomes his discomfort in a fit of rage, deciding to take control of the situation. He rushes against the force field, gathering all his strength and kicks it with all he has. However, to his shock, the force field doesn't even crack. Instead, the attack backfires, launching Noah backward as Kazus lifts Noah into the air, while the director ridicules him, provoking that the shield is too solid for him to break and that he only managed to break his own windows. Fueled by rage, Noah channels all his internal mana again and attacks the force field with all his might. Still, this attack also fails to cause any damage, leaving Mumu and Cut deeply concerned as Noah unleashes a series of attacks against the shield. The director is on the other side, smiling and calling it a waste of time, while Ruben also watches worriedly through the magic ball, knowing that Noah is wasting his energy on the shield even though he is not doing anything. Their goal is to lure the director, but Noah appears determined to fight him instead while attacking the shield. Noah remembers Hilo's lesson about exhausting his mana and becoming useless in a fight, realizing the truth of his words. He stops, but at this moment he is already exhausted from his relentless attacks on the shield. Everyone watches curiously, wondering what his next move will be. Remembering Elo's advice, Noah starts to gather mana from his surroundings. His mana suction is incredibly powerful. Both the supervisor and Helbin watch in disbelief. Meanwhile, Noah draws an immense amount of energy from the